Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rocked the bombs bursting in us came through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, Satan's flag-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the
Wayne Mesmer with another stirring rendition of the national anthems. Young Vincent Riendo, his first ever playoff start tonight. Riendo played well against the Hawks this year, a 3-1-1 record and a 4.33 average. He'll be opposed by 32-year-old Greg Millen. Millen in the first round was 3-2 against the North Stars, a 2.97, but he was yanked in 3 games. So he's been given the hook 3 times so far in the playoffs. The referee tonight is Denny Morrell. The linesman Gord Brossiker and Kevin Collins. The off-ice officials tonight are from Buffalo, New York. So here we go, game 1, the Blues and Blackhawks in the Norris Division Finals. And to tell you about the first period, Ken Wilson.
Well, folks, the coaches are ready, the players are set, the anthem has been sung, and this crowd rocking and rolling. Get ready to enjoy the best of the NHL. Blues win the face-off, and the puck shot in by Paul Cavallini, who's on defense with Roberts. Keith Brown for the Hawks, back behind his net, up to Larmer. He can't get around Hull. In front for Zezel, and the pass by Momesso just out of his reach. Gilbert for Chicago, ahead to Savard at the red line. Denny Savard, one of the game's great players, in over the line, but it's offside as Steve Larmer preceded the puck over the St. Louis blue line. Ryan Sutter, intense as always, well prepared. There's no question he is, in 2 quick seasons, become one of this league's great coaches. The only thing he lacks is experience, and that's understandable.
Well, experience behind the bench, but he certainly has seen many wars against these Blackhawks as a player.
Now Mahar is on against the Roenick line as the Blues have the puck. Paul Cavallini falls down, shoots it into the Chicago end, and the Hawks play it at their own line. Steve Thomas to Roenick. He had a great series against Minnesota, and on the left wing he takes a hip check, and Paul Cavallini knocks him down. Then Thomas sends Roberts reeling. Here's Zezel to center ice with Hull and Momesso. Zezel over the line, can't move in front. He's spun around into the corner, keeps possession to Hull. He shot right on. Millen makes the save on Brett Hull. The first shot on goal. Hawks play it to the Blues line, and it's lifted at center ice by Paul Cavallini and hits the scoreboard above the rink. And play is stopped just 56 seconds into the first period, and the Blues get the first scoring opportunity as Hull was set up in the slot.
Well, Brett Hull leads all players with 34 shots in the playoffs. Earlier, Paul Cavallini had a great hit on Jeremy Roenick. Roenick had 2 goals in Game 7 in that 5-2 victory over Minnesota. But Zezel in the Hawks end set up Hull in the slot, but Millen read it perfectly. He watched Hull out of the corner of his eyes and got the right pad down and made a big save.
Hawks win the faceoff at center ice. Van Dorp shoots the puck in. It's left for Brown on defense with Sneps. Here's Brown to center ice. Up front, Oates, McLean, and Brindamore. The puck shot in and ends up behind the Hawks net. Brindamore ridden out. And the Hawks, Manson knocked down. A battle for the puck in the corner. Oates moves in. Van Dorp checks him. Still vying for the puck. McLean there, checked by Manson. Play deep in the Chicago end. The puck is pried loose and up to the veteran Troy Murray. He's not played that well in the playoffs. He'll shoot it in out of the corner in front, and Riendeau sweeps the puck to the corner. Wayne Sutter plays it behind the net. Brown has it for the Blues, up for McLean. He fails to see the pass. Then Doug Wilson at center ice to Troy Murray. Back in his own end, he almost loses it and clears the zone. The rookie, Rod Brindamore, shoots it in wide of the Chicago net. Both teams are changing. Coming up to the 2-minute mark, no score, game 1. Featherstone crunches Troy Murray at center ice. Puck near the Blues net, played away from Goulet by Lawler. Nice pass to Dave Lowry at center ice. He'll backhand a roller right to Millen, who knocks it down. Then he leaves the puck for Keith Brown. One of the finest conditioned athletes in the NHL. Up to Savard, not a Larmer. In over the line, a pass for Goulet. Right point to Brown. His shot deflects over the Blues net. And Glenn Featherstone clears to center ice. Back at the Chicago line, Keith Brown slams it off the boards, and the puck at the Blues defense. Now it's center ice for Featherstone. He'll tip it ahead out of the reach of Lowry. Moving in is McGill. His pass to Thomas. He cuts in front, shoots, and shoots it high. A great chance for Steve Thomas. Puck still in the Blues zone. Now Ron Wilson clears it out. Taking over there, Steve Conroy, the former Islander, drills it in. Lawler for the Blues clears it off of a player and into the Blues players bench. And we're early in the first period, game 1 of the Norris Division Finals. There's no score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
No score, 17-13 to go in the opening period. Steve Thomas did have one good chance for the Blackhawks. Thomas has been very effective so far in the playoffs. Has 7 points, 2 goals, and 5 assists. He and Steve Larmer tied for the club lead with 7 points apiece.
As play resumes, the Blues have the puck. Paul Cavallini with it. Team with Roberts on defense. Off the glass, the puck slides the length of the ice. Brown to touch it. And that's an icing against the Blues. The Blues have Mahar up front. They had Zezel out there. He goes to the bench now. Momesso is also out on the forward line. The two coaches trying to match lines here. Keith Brown, a veteran for this Chicago team. Larmer, an Iron Man in this league. There's no question the Blackhawks have a bit more experience. And there's a fella, Jocelyn Lemieux, who's been banging around in the playoffs as he did early in his career with the Blues.
Well, he hasn't scored in the playoffs, but I've been told that he's been terrific so far, and he can bang. We all know that.
He wins the draw. Brown keeps it in. Gilbert in the corner looking for Lemieux in front. Thomas crashing around. Now Gilbert trying to center for Chicago and can't. Hit by Paul Cavallini. Here's a chance for Thomas moving out by the line. Across into the far corner to Lemieux. He can't center against Roberts, and there'll be a penalty as Greg Gilbert is sent down by Paul Cavallini. And then Lemieux says something to Paul Cavallini, and the Blues are going to be shorthanded. 3 minutes, 16 seconds have been played here in the first period. There's no score at the stadium in Chicago. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Number 14, Paul Cavallini. 2 minutes for cross-checking at 3:16. St. Louis penalty, Paul Cavallini. 2 minutes cross-checking at 3:16.
Paul Cavallini gets a cross-checking minor at 3:16. The Blackhawks in the playoffs in the first round, 5 of 43 on the power play, only 11.6%, so they've really struggled. Meanwhile, the Blues penalty killing has been superb in the playoffs. They've killed off 24 of 28, 85.7%.
The face-off near Riendeau, won by the Blues. Mahar snaps behind the net. His bother gets it to Lowry. He can't clear it out. Still can't get it out. And finally, the Blues captain Mahar clears the puck into the Chicago end. Lowry, Mahar, Lawler, and Sneps killing the penalty in front of Riendo. For Chicago, Trent Yanni with a puck. He's on one point. Doug Wilson, who can be dynamite, is on the other. Puck shot in, tipped in front. Riendo knocks it away. Yanni moves in into the corner for Larmer. Straight away, Doug Wilson, a blast, and it goes off Mahar and over the glass and into the crowd. 31 seconds now been erased from that 2-minute penalty to Paul Cavallini.
The Hawks' power play really is centered around two people. Doug Wilson back in the left point, and center iceman Denny Savard. He'll play the left wing side, and he and Wilson will actually play with the puck on the near side out near the point and look for either a shot from Doug Wilson or they'll look for the open man on the right wing side, who is usually Steve Larmer. So the Blues, their goal against the Hawks is don't let Doug Wilson shoot the puck, and obviously watch Larmer on the weak side.
Roenick, Creighton, Larmer, Yanni, Doug Wilson on the power play. Face off well inside the St. Louis blue line. Lawler, Sneps, Sutter, and Wilson. Back to Doug Wilson at the point. Right point to Trent Yanni. Far boards. Larmer in front is Roenick. A shot tipped in front. Knocked down and cleared by the Blues the length of the ice. 4 minutes have gone by. First period. No score here at Chicago Stadium. The Blackhawks have the man advantage to center ice. A pass gets away from Thomas. Now Yanni in the neutral zone fires it in. Roenick after it behind the net. He speeds away from Sneps. Back to Doug Wilson at the left point. He's bothered by Rich Sutter. And then Sneps clears the puck to center ice. Ron Wilson has it 2-on-1 with Rich Sutter. Over the line to Rich Sutter. Back to Ron Wilson to Sutter. And he can't get a shot. Then Rich Sutter loses the puck deep in the Chicago zone. And here are the Blackhawks. 43 seconds to go on the Chicago power play. Steve Thomas drills the puck in. Creighton digs after it, runs into Lawler, and Ron Wilson gets it and clears the puck the length of the ice. Half a minute to go now, and the Paul Cavallini penalty as both teams change players. The Hawks out of their own zone, led by Keith Brown. Over to Dave Manson. Right wing it comes to Presley. Now to Larmer. Savard's in front. Back to the right point. Brown tees it up. Screen shot right on. And Riendo a big save, and the Blues control the rebound. Lowry takes a pass from Mahar. Cuts it on the left wing. Can't get around Manson. And taken heavily to the boards behind the net. Hawks can't clear. Mahar keeps it in. Then Manson takes possession. And the penalty over. Paul Cavallini back on. Hawks slowed up at center ice. Brown circles in his own end for Chicago. Over to Manson. Up the middle off Presley's stick. McLean gets the puck quickly to Oates. He's spun around by Brown, and the Hawks control in their own end. Manson, bothered by McLean in front of his net, loses the puck. Then Oates centers too far for Brindamore. He tries to clear it in front from the corner and can't. And the Hawks overskated. Here's McLean to Brindamore. Quick shot. He scores! Rod Brindamore set up by Paul McLean. The Blues survive the Chicago power play and then come back and take the lead here early in the first period. The rookie, Rod Brindamore.
Well, the Blues had some pressure on after the Hawks were very sloppy in their own zone. They gave up the puck twice, and then finally it was picked up by McLean on the far side. He centered to Brindamore, and Brindamore has one of the better snapshots on the team, and he beat Millen low stick side. Millen really wasn't set for the shot, and Brindamore beat him low. His third goal of the playoffs at 5:42. And that's what often happens, Ken, sometimes after a team kills off a penalty. It gets a break and gets ahead 1-0.
Brindamore had 26 goals in the regular season. As John said, his third playoff goal. Now Hull moves in. A feed for Momesso gets away. At center ice for Chicago, Troy Murray. Slap shot right on. And a save by Riendo, and he holds the puck to stop play. The Blues lead the Blackhawks 1-0. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Bruce, you ready down there? Yep. All right, why don't we get a comment? Bruce, why don't you just take it out of here if we have time here?
St. Louis goal is third.
All right,
of the
okay.
playoffs, scored by number 19, Ron Brindamore.
You take it, Bruce.
Assisted by number 15, Paul McLean at 5:42.
Well, John and Ken, the Blues get a big break on Brendamore's goal. The Blackhawks have been suspect in their own zone, giving the puck up a couple times. Really in the Blues' favor. You know, there's some worry about the Blues coming in maybe a little stiff because of the long layoff. That goal has given him a big break at 5:42. Brendamore's third goal of the playoffs.
McLean gets the only assist, and Blues are off and running here.
Face off in the Blues zone. Both teams at full strength. Blues having a little trouble now getting hemmed in. The veteran Gordy Roberts behind the net to Paul Cavallini in the corner. Back to Roberts' far corner. And he'll just clear it out through center ice. And Conroy will dash back into his own end. He's on defense with Doug Wilson for Chicago. Troy Murray is at center. He's got Lemieux and Gilbert with him. This is Gilbert, the former Islander, shooting the puck in over the net and off the glass. Jocelyn Lemieux, body down. Takes Momesso with him, and the Blues. Hull gets a pass. Now it's center ice. Winds up. Shot right on. Millen, a stick save on Hull. Brown to center ice for Chicago. Up for Goulet. Over the line to Roenick. He'll slap the puck behind the Blues net. Jeff Brown there. Softly up the near wing for Zezel. He runs into Roenick and falls down. The rookie, Jeremy Roenick. Stick handles to the Blues line. Loses the puck. And it's center ice. Keith Brown for Chicago drives it back in. Goulet along the boards in the corner to Roenick. In front for Larmer. Back to the point to Keith Brown. He'll tip it into the corner. Goulet and Sneps run together. Zezel gets the puck. Can't clear it out. It's Larmer. And a loose puck to Sergio Momesso, and he'll flip it out to center ice. Way out comes Millen in his own end to tip it ahead to Yanni. Over the line, Chicago. Trent Yanni plays it to the corner to Larmer. Sneps gets in his way. And Jeff Brown gets it up to Gino Cavallini. Overskates it in his own end. And Sneps covers up for Gino Cavallini. Rink wide for Jeff Brown with a bouncing puck. His left wing pass into the Chicago end. Gino Cavallini touches it. And the whistle stops play. Now Kelly Chase gets into it with Creighton right in front of Greg Millen. Mahar there doing some bumping, and they separate Chase and Wayne Presley, who's involved also. The linesmen were a bit confused there if it was going to be offside or not. And finally the whistle was blown to stop play. 12:23 to go in the opening period. The Blues have taken the lead 1-0 on a goal by Rod Brind'Amour. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Getting off to a slow start has been the norm for the Hawks in the playoffs so far. They were outscored by Minnesota 10-4 in the first period in the first series, while the Blues were outscoring Toronto 6-3 in the first period in the first round.
Blues get the puck in their own end. Gino Cavallini stays up as Creighton knocks him down. The puck ends up at the Hawks defense. Conroy to center ice, shoots it in. It bounds high along the rail. Steve Thomas has it out near the blue line. A wrist shot going wide, caught by Riendo. And he holds the puck in his trapper for a stoppage in play. Exactly 8 minutes into period 1 of game 1 of this Norris Division Final Series. The Blues have the only goal, and they have outshot Chicago in the early going 3-2.
The Blues record when scoring first in these playoffs, 3-0. Bruce, how much is a first goal? How much does that mean to a hockey club in the playoffs?
It's just the confidence factor. They come into this building to play 2 games. They want to win 1 game. They're on the right track, and it's just got to give them a lot of confidence.
Vincent Riendo looking out to his left. The face-off between Ron Wilson and Denny Savard. Two number 18s. This crowd roaring here at Chicago Stadium. McGill at the right point, Doug Wilson at the left, but Ron Wilson of the Blues wins the draw. Roberts takes Sutter out. That's Dwayne Sutter. And McLean tries to get it out. Finally, Ron Wilson does. Hawks control at center ice. Bob McGill blasts it in off the glass, and it sails into the crowd. And play is stopped again, and this time we'll have a face-off out in the neutral center ice area. We mentioned in the regular season the Blues had the upper hand. They beat Chicago 5 times. Ryan Sutter's Blues losing twice to the Hawks, and there was 1 tie.
Not dressed tonight for the Blues, Herb Ragland, Nelson Eberson, who has yet to make an appearance, Steve Tuttle scratch along with Robert Dirk. Not dressed for the Blackhawks, Bob Murray, Al Secord, Dirk Graham and Mike Hudson. Graham is the only one of those players injured. He has a fractured kneecap.
The Blues have the puck. All-star Paul Cavallini up to Paul McLean, slowed up in the neutral zone. Puck slides into the Chicago end, and Savard scoots in. Gives it to Van Dorp. The other wing is Dwayne Sutter. They can't go anywhere. Blues shoot it in, and Savard comes out with it over the red line. He'll just dump it into the corner. Van Dorp after it. Centers, and intercepting is Oates. Adam Oates for the Blues to center ice with McLean. 3 Hawks are back. Oates over the line, centers for Gordy Roberts. It's intercepted. Savard to Doug Wilson. Right wing, Dwayne Sutter, a shot off the post. Van Dorp fans on a long shot attempt, and here are the Blues. McLean to Jeff Brown, carried in on the left wing over the line, can't center, and Savard gets the puck to Dwayne Sutter. He's tied up, knocked down in his own end by Rod Brindamore, and the puck is covered to stop play. And the Hawks there came within a hair of tying this game at 1.
Well, Dwayne Sutter, who has 25 career playoff goals, hit the goalpost behind Riendo. It went by his stick, and boy, is that ever a break for the Blues. The Blues still lead 1-0, 10:54 left in the opening period. And Ken, so far, the Blues have really limited all the Hawk shots to the outside, and Riendo has not been tested severely.
Well, Brian Sutter knows the experience of his brother Dwayne. He has played in 148 playoff games. Now the face-off, top of the circle inside the Chicago end. Puck tips to center ice. Jeff Brown shoots it in. He's on with Sneps. Oates, Sutter, and Lowry behind the Chicago net. Helmetless Doug Wilson up to Michel Goulet. Now to Jeremy Roenick. Larmer's the other forward. Roenick gets away from Sneps. Then a loose puck. Larmer centers back to Doug Wilson. He shoots. He scores. Doug Wilson. And it's tied at 1.
Well, Doug Wilson gets his first of the playoffs after Goulet missed the pass in front, and Wilson put a top shelf over Riendo's glove, and it might have been tipped on the way through as Jeff Brown came in, and I'm not sure if it hit Brown's stick and went over Riendo's shoulder or simply missed his stick altogether. But Riendo, a quick move with his glove was not quick enough, and the Hawks have tied the game at 9:26.
Doug Wilson in his 13th NHL season, his first playoff goal of 1990, and will have the face-off at center ice. Zezel loses the draw to Troy Murray. Yanni on defense with Keith Brown, gets it up to the North Dakota product. Troy Murray over the line, and the whistle stops play. Chicago is offside. On the line with Troy Murray is Jocelyn Lemieux on right wing and Greg Gilbert on the left wing. The Blues have Zezel out there with Hall and Momesso. On defense, Mike Lawler and Glenn Featherstone. Goulet and Larmer getting the assist on Doug Wilson's goal at 9:26, and we're ready for the face-off outside the St. Louis blue line. Featherstone ends up with it as Zezel wins the draw. A pass for Zezel tipped away at center ice. A battle there for a bouncing puck, and Zezel carries it at his own blue line. Up for Hall, he'll tip it in. Yanni back behind his net for Chicago. 1-1 here in the first period. Hawks clear it out. Puck will slide back into the St. Louis end. Lawler retreats for it. His pass comes to center ice, shot back in by the Hawks, a delayed offside. Now Mike Lawler over to Sergio Momesso. He runs into Jocelyn Lemieux. Doug Wilson ahead to Creighton trying to move in. He's taken to the boards by Mike Lawler. That allows Zezel to get the puck behind the net. Right wing to Hall off his skate. And Zezel brings it to center ice at the red line. Off the Hall skate goes a pass. Zezel knocked down. Blues shoot the puck in, and they'll change players. Chicago now with a puck in their own end. Doug Wilson takes a pass. Can't get around Adam Oates. They battle along the boards, and then Creighton gets it. The former Sabre shovels it to Steve Thomas. He'll shoot it into the corner. It dies. Presley and Brindamore take each other out, and then Snep's pass comes to Hall at center ice. He can't get around Yanni. Jeff Brown, the former Nordique, circles back behind his net for the Blues. Up the wing, past the winger Brindamore. Now over the Chicago line. Oates is poke checked by Yanni. Here's Savard, nicely at center ice to Thomas. 4 Blues are back. Thomas, right wing, the shot, and that goes wide. Yanni left point, a drive, that's tipped wide. Sneps clears it up the far wing for Brindamore. He and Larmer battle in a loose puck to Sneps. Now to Paul McLean, up to the checkered red line. He'll flip it in wide of Millen. Out of the corner, Keith Brown plays the puck for Chicago and clears to center ice. 8:35 to go, first period, 1-1. Blues move in, Mahar loses the puck. Yanni back for it, around to the far side to Larmer. Larmer on with Goulet and Roenick. Hawks stopped at center ice. Here's Mahar, right wing to McLean. He'll shoot it in again. Back in the corner, Keith Brown. The veteran Hawk ahead for Larmer, too far at center ice. Gordy Roberts has the puck. Out ahead to Gino Cavallini. He'll shoot it in on a line with Chase and Mahar. Keith Brown back, takes it in front of his net, wheels it around the far side, and the puck will go the length of the ice. Gordy Roberts back to touch it, and it is an icing call against the Chicago Blackhawks. 1-1 here in the first period. Let's pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Blues return home Sunday to take on the Blackhawks in Game 3. Game 4 will be Tuesday, April 24th. There are tickets available. Call 434-6600. That number again for dial tickets, 434-6600. Or you can stop by the Arena box office. It's open every day from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. But there are plenty of good seats for both Sunday and Tuesday's games back in St. Louis. Game 2 will be Friday here at the stadium.
Rod Brindamore has scored for the Blues. Doug Wilson has come back to tie it for Chicago. Now Otson with Chase and Gino Cavallini, Gordy Roberts and Paul Cavallini. Face off near Millen. Hawks control the puck. Conroy behind the net. He's teamed with Doug Wilson. Here's Steve Conroy to center ice, shy of the red line. He shoots it in. Back for the puck is Chase, and then Paul Cavallini touches it. It's icing against the Blackhawks as Chase and Presley have words. And the faceoff will come back near Greg Millen.
Well, Bruce, so far it's been a fairly evenly played period, and I guess the scoreboard reflects that.
That's right, 1-1 game, and both goals really given up on defensive lapses. Chicago's defensive lapse, Brindamore got the goal, and then in our end, I thought the Blues maybe backed in a little bit too soon into their own zone and had a chance to get it out and did not, and that allowed Wilson to get the goal for the Hawks. But overall, pretty even play, and I think the good sign is the Blues are playing at a good tempo considering the time they had off between the series.
The shots in this period are even now, 3 aside. There's no question everyone fears always coming in here and getting blown away early. We generally didn't see that to be the case in the regular season, and it wasn't the case tonight. The Hawks certainly in the initial minutes did not come out banging and dominating the Blues. They tried, they just weren't able to do it. Hawks win the faceoff in their own end, then Lowry takes Larmer to the boards, and the puck slides to center ice. Doug Wilson moves up to the red line, and he'll shoot it in around behind Riendo, far side. Larmer with it, he's very good along the boards, and he's tied up by Dave Lowry. Roberts is there with Roenick also. Denny Morrell, the referee, finally blows the whistle to stop play, and then the players get a little testy, and the 2 linesmen move in, Kevin Collins and Gord Grosiker. So we're down to 7:25 to go, first period. Brindamore scored from McLean at 5:42. Doug Wilson tied it from Goulet and Larmer at 9:26.
The Hawks won their first round series Monday night over the North Stars by a 5-2 score. And the key in that game, in that win over Minnesota in that final game, the North Stars had a 2-man advantage for over 2 minutes when both Keith Brown and Denny Savard took high sticking majors. They were both kicked out of the game. At the time, the Stars were leading 1-0, but they failed to score during that 2-man advantage, and the Hawks came back with 4 unanswered goals to go ahead and on to a 5-2 win.
Here's the face-off. Wilson and Roenick. Ron Wilson wins it to Roberts. Gordy Roberts in the corner, loses his balance. Checked by Roenick. Then the Hawks intercept. Larmer in front. A shot, and that fails to beat Riendo. Here the Blues to center ice. Lowry, poke check by Doug Wilson. Loose puck in the neutral zone. Ron Wilson gets it and golfs it in. Millen vacating the crease, leaves it behind the Hawks net for Doug Wilson. Out to Larmer in the middle for Roenick. He can't get around Paul Cavallini. And Ron Wilson's pass intercepted and Goulet shoots it in. The Blackhawks are changing. Less than 7 minutes to go in the opening period, 1-1. Blues at center ice. Momesso over the line, drops the puck for Rich Sutter. A shot well wide. Gilbert gets the puck, moves out of his own end. Ahead it comes to Troy Murray. Over the line to Jocelyn Lemieux. He shoots it well wide of the net. Gilbert keeps it in, backhands it high off the glass, and Featherstone takes over behind the net. Up to Rich Sutter. He avoids most of a Yanni check, and the puck slides all the way into the Chicago zone. Jocelyn Lemieux, the former Blues player, up the middle, over the line, drops it for Troy Murray. A wrist shot knocked down by Lawler. Puck in the corner. Lemieux is there. And he loses it, and here's Brett Hull with a burst of speed to center ice, looking for open ice. Gives the puck to Oates, in over the line, back to the right point. Featherstone, a shot blocked. Then Lawler, a drive, and that's kicked out by Millen. Here's Hull, a shot, that hits a leg. And to center ice, Jocelyn Lemieux, slowed up by Featherstone. Lawler takes over at center ice for the Blues and risks the puck in. Both teams completing a player change. Hawks get sloppy in their own end, in front for Hull. He can't settle the puck down, and Savard breaks out 2-on-1 with Presley. Over the line, Lawler back, Savard in front, can't get a shot. And the puck cleared to Momesso. Still in his own end, he'll lift it through center ice, back inside the Chicago end. Blues change again. Boy, that was dangerous. Savard right in front. Now Thomas over the line for Chicago, flips it through the offensive zone into the corner. To Savard behind the net. He eludes Zezel. Left point to Yanni. His shot blocked by McLean. What a great play there. And the puck comes to Peter Zezel. He clears it to the point, not out. Yanni into the slot to Presley. A backhand shot blocked in front by Sneps. Harold Sneps clears the puck ahead. It's out of the reach of Brindamore, tied up by Brown, and Yanni wheels it around to the near side. Here's Steve Thomas at center ice to Savard, stopped by Paul Cavallini. Then Millen comes way out. Clears the puck away from the Blues players, and it's Savard at center ice, left wing to Presley. He's taken out by Paul Cavallini. And the Blues flip the puck into the crowd, and play is stopped. 4:44 to go in the opening period. The Blues and the Hawks are tied at 1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Won the score, and the Blues can thank defenseman Mike Waller for that after Jeff Brown got caught up ice. It was a 2-on-1 Hawk break the other way. Denny Savard moved in, and he cut in front. Did not pass the puck to Presley. Had a wide open shot after Rando went down a bit early, but Lawler came over and blocked the shot. And Ken, already in this period, the Blues defense have blocked, I would say, 4 or 5 Hawk shots.
They have done a good job. It's been a very defensive first period, as it turns out. There have been only 7 shots on goal, 4 for the Blues. Blues control the puck in their own end. Paul Cavallini drives it off the boards, not out, kept in by McGill. He'll dump it towards the net. It's knocked down. Then Van Dorp wrestled down by Roberts. Ron Wilson trying to contend with big Adam Creighton, but he's big and burly. Then Roberts knocks him down. Gets the puck up to Gino Cavallini. He runs into McGill, and that stops him. Then Gordy Roberts gets it. Paul Cavallini with a puck in his own end ahead for brother Gino, and he'll tip it in. Millen knocks the puck down for Dave Manson. He's got some skating room up to center ice. He'll give it to Troy Murray, or rather Sutter, and he gets it in. Then it comes to center ice, and Van Dorp and Gino Cavallini collide. Then Ron Wilson tries to move in. He can't get around Dwayne Sutter. Very tight checking, and the puck at center ice, and Featherstone shoots it in high over the glass and into the crowd. Not much room to move out there when you've got fellas like Ron Wilson and Dwayne Sutter. Sergio Momesso, very good checking forwards. And play is stopped with 3:53 remaining in the first period. It was a good year for rookies, John Kelly. Not much question about it, especially in this division, the Norris.
Well, the Hawks had one of the best in Jeremy Roenick, had 26 goals this year. and had a couple of big goals in game number 7. One area where the Blues can exploit the Blackhawks, I feel, is on defense. And Dave Manson has been prone to taking bad penalties, and Manson at times can be crazed, and he can be goaded into taking some bad penalties.
The puck ends up in the Chicago end. Yanni back for it. Dangerously in front of his net. Wheels it off the boards. Featherstone at center ice. Slowed up. Goulet shoots it in. In the corner, Roenick behind the net. Wedged out by Lawler. And the Blues try to clear it out. Can't. Yanni keeps it in. Roenick well covered. Here's Larmer in the corner. Tries to get away from Featherstone. The puck comes loose. And Momesso tips it to center ice. Goulet over to Steve Larmer. He'll circle back. Then plays it to Doug Wilson. He's stopped, but gets it to Goulet. Over the line to Roenick. In front with Yanni. And down on the ice, Momesso. What a play. He stops that rush. Up to Hall. Brett Hall over the line. Fakes a shot. Around Doug Wilson. He shoots. And Millen gets a piece of it. Momesso behind the Chicago net, tied up. Roenick there. He tries to freeze the puck. He's knocked around a bit. It comes loose. Back to the right point. Jeff Brown shoots wide. No one there to deflect it on net. Roenick tries to clear it out, and then Larmer does. 2:50 to go, first period. Here the Blues back in over the line to Oates. Oates at the right point, a shot! Had saved Millen. Then with a rebound, Savard deep in his own end, puts on the brakes. Up to Wayne Presley. Steve Thomas at center ice, takes the pass over the line. Can't get around Jeff Brown. Savard pokes the puck behind the net. Jeff Brown there, he's tied up, it comes in front, Riendo clears, but here's Savard in the corner. He spins away from Snaps, feeds into the corner to Thomas, in front for Presley, can't reach it. Conroy from the point, a shot! That goes wide. Savard tries to center and can, and then Snaps gets it. Up to Hall, he clears it to center ice. It's played by Mahar to Hall, he's well covered by Presley, and then Conroy shoots it in for Chicago. Both teams are changing. Here come the Blues. Jeff Brown out to center ice to Rich Sutter. It's intercepted. Gilbert tries to move in, can't. Puck gets away, and Snaps gets it up. Out on the left wing to Lowry. He's knocked down. So is Zezel. And then Brown, a right wing pass ahead of Rich Sutter. Greg Gilbert back in his own end for Chicago. Over to McGill, up to Lemieux. Now to Troy Murray at the Chicago offensive zone. He cuts in the corner, centers. And Gilbert well covered by Paul Cavallini on that dangerous play. And the crowd reacts as Troy Murray bumps along the boards with Zezel. Play in the Blues zone, and the puck finally frozen against the boards to stop play. A minute 24 to go in the first period. 1-1 is the score. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Brett Hall, who is second in the NHL in playoff scoring with 10 points, 5 goals, 5 assists, made a brilliant move on Doug Wilson, the former Norris Trophy winner, put the puck through his legs, but Millen made a big save, and the Blues in this 1-1 game now have a face-off in their own zone, and they've outshot the Hawks 6-3.
And so much for the Hawks stopping Brett Hull. Of the 6 shots, Hull has had at least 2 of them, and 2 of them have been outstanding scoring chances. At the very outset of the game, he was set up in the slot, and Millen made a good stick save. Blues control the puck in their own end. Gino Cavallini with it, up to Zezel. He tips it in. Rich Sutter is the other winger. It'll go down over the end red line, and it's icing as the Blues tipped it into the Chicago zone from their side of center. And there's a minute 13 remaining in period 1 of this best-of-7 Norris Division final series. If anybody would have said that the Blues could hold the Hawks to 3 shots in the first period, I think a lot of people would have been surprised. It's a very good effort by the Blues in this opening period.
They've done a very nice job at protecting Riendo, who is making his first ever playoff start. He replaced Curtis Joseph late in game number 5 against Toronto, and he stopped 2 of 3 Maple Leaf shots, including that Marois breakaway with 4:44 left. And Riendo said that one save on Marois restored his confidence.
The face-off to the right of the Blues goal. A minute 13 remaining in the period. Mahar has come out for the faceoff against Dennis Savard. Savard on with Creighton and Larmer, Yanni and Doug Wilson. These faceoffs so important, and Mahar wins it. Roberts plays it around on the near right wing to Rich Sutter. His pass to Lowry in front to Mahar, and he shoots, he scores! Mahar scores on a play that for a moment looked like it might have been offside. But the Blues take the lead 2-1. And the Blackhawks are vehemently arguing the play was offside.
Well, the pass came from inside the Blues zone, and I think they're arguing it was a two-line offside pass, not an offside at the Hawks line, and then Mahar put it right through Millen's legs, and the Blues lead 2-1. A great pass, though, from Dave Lowry to Mahar, who gets his first point of the playoffs. Well, on the replay, we haven't run it back far enough to see if the pass came from inside the line to the other side of center, but Ken, there's no question the play was not offside at the Blackhawk line.
No, I don't think anyone was questioning that, but it looked like the pass was from inside the St. Louis line to Lowry out over the center red line. I think that most of the players on the ice led up feeling that it was offside, and the linesmen were just about to call offside and then did not. And the play at center ice. Here's Mahar again. He can't move in around Conroy. Rich Sutter sweeps in. He centers, but the puck intercepted. Steve Thomas gets it ahead to Gilbert over the line. 38 seconds to go in the period. Back to Thomas. A shot turned away by Riendo. And the Blues clear the puck out. Blues lead it 2-1. Half a minute to go in the first period. Conroy back in his own end. Up to Gilbert. He's checked by McLean. Oates gives it to Brindamore over the line. A shot. And that hits Keith Brown in the leg. Roenick feeds ahead to Steve Thomas. 15 seconds to go in the first period. He's stopped at the Blues defense. McLean takes it from Lawler and shoots it in with 8 seconds to go in the period. The Hawks have had only 4 shots on goal. Here's Doug Wilson. 2 seconds to go. He'll flip it in, and time runs out. There's the siren, and the Blues get a late goal here in the first period. And was it offside?
Well, the pass was made from Sutter across the line to Lowry, and that looked like it was a two-line offside pass. And now the Hawks are arguing, but that's a goal. But looking at it on the replay, it appeared to be offside.
Well, I felt it was offside at the time, and I was stunned that it wasn't called, and you could definitely tell that players on the ice, especially the Chicago players, had let up feeling it was an offside call. Of course, the rule is simple. You play and let the officials do the deciding. We have seen 20 minutes of action here in... We are back at Chicago Stadium getting ready for the start of the second period. The Blues lead the Blackhawks 2-1. Brindamore scored from McLean at 5:42. Doug Wilson for Chicago from Goulet and Larmer at 9:26. And then Mahar, the disputed goal from Sutter and Lowry at 18:58. Blues out shooting the Hawks 7-4 in the first period. We're ready. The second period, and here's John Kelly.
All right, Ken, team's at full strength. The Blues up by 1. As the Hawks dump it in, but off the boards, it's picked up by Mahar. Back to center for Brett Hull across the Hawk line. Hull a drop pass, but Roberts couldn't get to it. And Troy Murray feeds Lemieux on right wing. Jocelyn Lemieux tripped up at the Blues line, but the play was offside anyhow at the St. Louis line. In that first period, Brett Hull led all players with 3 shots on goal. He had nearly as many as the entire Hawk team.
And 2 of them, as we mentioned earlier, were very good scoring opportunities. Jocelyn Lemieux played very well in the Minnesota series. On that last play, Gordy Roberts used maybe the defenseman's best friend. That's his own blue line. He got Lemieux to move laterally right there. And that puts the player on the right wing offside. You don't have to even check the player. Just make him make a false move.
Wilson, Hull, and Memesso up front for the Blues against Troy Murray, Lemieux, and Wayne Presley. And now the Blues clear it down the ice, and it's offside 30 seconds into this second period. Well, Bruce Affleck, you would have to think the Blues have the edge here, leading after 1 at the stadium.
You really do, John. You want to slow them down in this second period. I'm sure Keenan talked to them, wanted them pumped up going into this early part of the second period. I guess what surprised me the most in that first period is only one penalty taken between these two teams. These two teams have been known to get into a lot of rough going, and there wasn't too much of it in the first period.
Well, there's no question, John and Bruce, that that's probably the biggest surprise of that period. I know most observers felt there'd be a lot of hitting and a lot of retaliation, and consequently a lot of penalties. Not the case.
Face off left of Riendo. Hawks get the draw. Brown right pointer shot off the side of the Blues goal. Now behind that net. Steve Thomas digs it free. Thomas poke checked in the near corner by Wilson. And Ron Wilson, the veteran, plays it off the far boards and down the ice. Doug Wilson, number 24, back to get it for Chicago. Around the boards. Kept in by Memesso. He shoots it in deep. Now Wilson in front of his own goal. He'll skate the puck to center ice. Drives it in there. Riendo sets it up behind the goal. Hawks in there forechecking though. Troy Murray gets it. He's bumped by Mike Lawler. And it's cleared by Zezel to Memesso on left wing. Blues come to center. They lead 2-1. Now Zezel. Good pass to Memesso. That hit a skate though. And back is Greg Gilbert. Ahead for Savard. Back to Gilbert. But Brett Hall got back. And he chopped it back to center. On Memesso's stick. He'll dump it in. The Blues make a change on the move. Mahar, Sutter, and Lowry hop over the boards. Manson back to center for Chicago. He'll shoot it in. Brown behind the Blues goal. Up to Mahar on right wing. Not center for Brown. 2-on-1 with Lowry. Here's Brown in on right wing. A drive. Millen a big save with his left pad there on Brown. And it's cleared back to center ice. Mahar up for Rich Sutter. That was called a two-line offside pass. And the fans yell in mock appreciation of the linesman's correct call there.
Well, it has to be mixed emotions for Greg Millen in the Hawk goal. Obviously, the double trade in the season, tough. First going from the Blues to Quebec, then from Quebec to Chicago was a relief. And he is in there in his 53rd playoff game. And of course, the Blues goaltending, only 5 playoff games, Riendo in 1 and Curtis Joseph in the other 5. As John mentioned at the outset of the evening, Curtis Joseph practiced today and yesterday back in St. Louis, is healthy and is ready to play. Jeff Brown moved in on the right wing, let a shot go on a 2-on-1 break. Millen kicked it out and kicked the rebound out far enough that it was out of the reach of any Blues players in the area.
Blues lead 2-1 as we approach the 2-minute mark of the second period. Now the puck in the Blues zone. Lowry in the corner. Roberts there as well. And Roberts plays it behind his goal for Paul Cavallini. Up on right wing to Sutter. Rich Sutter now to center ice. Good pass for Roberts. He skates in on left wing. Fires one to the far corner. Oates on it there. Now to McLean, a drive, and he put that just wide. And it's off the boards and down the ice. Nice opportunity there for Paul McLean, but he shot wide. Roberts behind his goal. Far corner for Paul Cavallini. Now ahead at center ice to Wilson with Brindamore. Into Oates now on right wing. Oates a pass to Brindamore in the near corner. He's tied up by McGill. Puck cleared ahead. Oates knocked it down on right wing. He can't get turned around, and Van Dorp is there. Now for Dwayne Sutter. He'll play it down the ice. Roenick races in after it. Gets it behind the Blues goal. Roenick now checked by Paul Cavallini, and here come the Blues again. Cavallini's pass off. Brindamore's stick down the ice. Millen out of the goal. Pass up the boards. Now for Steve Larmer. Larmer in front of his own net. That's center, but Lawler knocked it down there. Now Oates back in for the Blues. He's right in on right wing. A shot of Millen, a save, rebound. Brindamore, a drive. That's blocked though. It never got through. And now the Hawks' goal has been knocked loose, and play has been called. Oh, Brindamore had a great chance there on the rebound with Millen down.
That's the blue line. Oates threw a great check on Larmer, who ran into Doug Wilson. That opened the lane. Then the low Oates shot was stopped. Brindamore trying to get a quick rebound shot away, was unable to. Oates didn't get a lot on the shot. It was a little bit placed on the blade of his stick towards the heel, so he really didn't get the zip on that drive that he would have liked to, but Millen able to make the save. We have talked a lot about the fact that the Blues would like to charge in around Millen and really cause havoc with the Chicago defense. They feel that the Blackhawk defense is very vulnerable. Well, believe me, the Blackhawks feel the same thing about the Blues defense. They feel if they can send two men in consistently, they can steal the puck a lot with their forechecking. We've seen them do that a little bit in this second period.
The Blues lead the game 2-1. 16:45 left in the second period. Face off in the Hawk zone. Troy Murray a pass. Up on left wing to Lemieux. He gets it to center, but the Blues get it right back. Here's Memesso into Zezel on right wing. It's off his stick, though, and it goes over the boards on the far side. Zezel had a good series against Toronto with a goal and 4 assists. And Bruce, he was so effective, not necessarily scoring goals, but very good in the corners.
Very good in the corners and in the face-off area, John. And Peter Zezel, really from the start of the year, from being Brett Hull's centerman, has changed into a different role. He was a very big part of the Blues' 4-game victory against the Toronto Maple Leafs in the first series, and Blues need him in this series here. He did not have a good series against the Hawks last year.
Blues up by a goal here. 2-1. Zezel between Hull and Memesso. Murray out there for Chicago with Creighton on one wing and Lemieux on the other side. So Creighton, normally a center on the wing here. Now the Hawks to center, they'll clear it in. Back is Lawler. He's bumped, but the Blues get it to center to Memesso. He comes to the Hawk line. Into Zezel on right wing around Yanni. Behind the goal. Bumped by Yanni. Now 5 players back there. Brown hauled down Memesso. And there'll be a penalty here. A holding call either against Yanni or Brown, and I think it'll go against Yanni. Blues lead 2-1, and they're going on the power play. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Blackhawk penalty number 8, Yanni, 2 minutes for holding at 3:49. Blackhawk penalty, Yanni, 2 minutes for holding at 3:49.
3:49 of the second period, the time of the holding penalty to Trent Yanni. The Blues will have their first power play of the night. Yanni taking Zezel to the boards behind the net. What strength Zezel has in the legs, but he was in a headlock, and that's when Yanni gets the penalty. The Blues in the playoffs successful 29% of the time on the power play, 8 for 28. Chicago penalty killing successful 81% of the time. They are very dangerous shorthanded. They scored 2 shorthanded goals in the 7-game series with Minnesota. Wayne Presley had 1. Steve Larmer had the other. So the Blues are very cognizant of the fact that they can be potent while they are shorthanded.
But the Blues power play hot lately. They were 2 of 4 in Game 5 against Toronto. Blues get the draw. Here's Brown, right pointer shot. Oh, glove save by Millen on a howitzer from the right point.
Jeff Brown would be the Blues' answer to the Blackhawks' Doug Wilson. Blues always on the power play when they get the puck back to the point are trying to get it to Brown. He moves in, puts his weight into it after Zezel wins the faceoff, and Millen has to come up with a superb glove save. The Blues will try to do the same thing again here.
Zezel up front with Hull and Wilson. Oates and Brown the point men. Troy Murray on the draw, but Ron Wilson skated into the circle a bit early, and now Zezel kicked out of there. So Wilson will take the draw against Troy Murray. Blues lead 2-1 on a power play here. Wilson gets the draw. Right point for Brown. Into Ron Wilson on right wing. In deep for Zezel behind the goal to Brett Hull. He lost it. Now it's behind the Hawk net. And a Hawk player put it on the mesh. Play called. And now we get some more pushing and shoving in that Chicago zone. Well, Ken, there's no question the Blues had the edge on the faceoffs against Toronto, and unofficially they seem to have the edge tonight in that department as well.
They've been very strong in that department. The Blues, as Brian Sutter likes to say, are doing all the little things well. And a fellow like Ron Wilson is the epitome of a player who does the little things. Meanwhile, at the other end, veteran defenseman Bob McGill of the Blackhawks limps off the ice and hobbles down the steps to the Chicago dressing room. Bob McGill leaves with an injury.
1:47 left on the Blues power play. They lead the game 2-1, 15:58 left second period. Now Zezel against Troy Murray. Zezel right point for Brown. He looks to shoot. Pass to Wilson. He missed it. Now behind the goal for Zezel. Near side to Brett Hull. Hull in deep for Zezel. Back to Hull on left wing. On the point for Oates. Left wing to Hull. His shot blocked by Keith Brown. And the puck cleared by Lemieux. Back to center ice now for Troy Murray. He comes across the line. Troy Murray backhands it in deep for Lemieux. He's bumped by Brown. Lemieux carries on. Now Brown steals it. Gets it up to Brett Hull. Hull has 3 power play goals so far in the playoffs. Hull comes to center. Works in on right wing. Tied up. Gets it to the corner for Ron Wilson. Left point now for Oates. He gets turned around to Brown. Left wing side to Brett Hull and deep to Zezel. He has Wilson in front. Instead Zezel back on left wing for Hull on the point to Oates. Behind the back to Hull. On this Blues power play. Now to Zezel in a slot. Works in a pass. Blocked in front by Keith Brown. Cleared but not out. Here's Hull on left wing. He lost it. Now it's flipped ahead by Larmer, not out. Held in. Zezel. Now to Oates in the slot. He was checked though. And Larmer back to center ice. To Savard. He comes in on right wing. Now to Larmer, right in, and he can't get a shot away. And the Blues with 25 seconds left in their power play take control. Blues up 2-1. Now Brown back to center. He works in on right wing. Drop pass to Zezel. Now lets it go, and he just missed on the short side. Oates on the left point. Right wing side to Zezel. In the slot to Momesso behind him, though. And Dave Manson for the Hawks. He carries to center. Manson to the Blues line. And now the penalized player Yanni back on. Blues still lead 2-1. Now Jeff Brown at center to Momesso. Long drive, just wide on the short side. McLean on right wing behind the goal. Now they center one. Brindamore shot. He scores! Rod Brindamore gets his second goal of the game, and the Blues lead 3-1.
The Blues are playing a fabulous game right from the outset when they were not ruffled at all by Chicago. Got the early first period goal from Brindamore. And they have taken advantage here. They're doing so many little things well, doing the things that they've been able to do when they've been at the top of the game all season. It comes right in front to Brindamore. He slams it in off Millen for his second goal of the night and his 4th of the playoffs. The goal comes at 6:05. Boy, what a big goal that is. The Blues get a 2-goal lead here in game 1.
That makes it 3-1. Brindamore is 4th. That's 6:05. Now the Blues clear it down the ice. And icing call. 3-1 the Blues lead. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Scored by number 19, Rod Brindamore. Assisted by number 27, Sergio Momesso. And number 15, Paul McLean at 6:05. St. Louis goal scored by Brindamore. Assisted by Momesso and McLean at 6:05.
Brindamore from Momesso and McLean at 6:05. Brindamore has scored twice. Mahar has scored. The Chicago goal coming from Doug Wilson. Well, we're glad you're with us wherever you're watching or listening tonight. We're glad to have folks in the upper Midwest. 1470 AM KANO covering the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, St. Paul. We're glad you're with us at Chicago Stadium.
Blues lead here 3-1. 13:35 to go. Second period, Hawks attacking. Roenick centers one right through the goal crease. Out the other side, and McLean. Down at center ice to Ron Wilson. He was checked, and Van Dorp picks it up at his own line. Van Dorp into Presley on right wing. He cuts right in, and he can't get a shot away. Presley has 5 goals so far in the playoffs. Now the Hawks forechecking. Van Dorp near corner for Presley. Roberts there for the Blues, and they hold it long enough for a faceoff in the St. Louis end.
Bruce Affleck, this has been the type of situation where the Blues have oftentimes not had the killer instinct this season. A 3-1 lead, they're in a position if they could get the next one, they might be able to skate away from Chicago.
That's right. We saw it a couple times in the Toronto series. Not having the killer instinct has hurt the Blues all season long. The Blues took advantage of the situation there. A great play by McLean behind the net to Momesso, and then Brind'Amour putting it in for his second goal of the night. You've got to have that killer instinct. You've got him down, you kick him. There's no friendship in this game. Forget any friends on the other side. You've got to bury him when you get a chance.
This is when you should feel, well, we're down by one. We've got to go, guys. That's the better way to think rather than think, well, we're up, let's cruise. There is no cruising in this game, especially when you're this far into the season.
Riendo has not been very busy tonight. The Blues have outshot the Hawks 11-5 and lead 3-1. Blues clear it to center. Puck at the line, picked up by Wilson, but Momesso had preceded Wilson in across the line, and offside has been called.
We'd like to remind folks of the Dan Kelly Memorial Golf Tournament. It is sponsored by Budweiser and KSD Radio. It's for the benefit of the American Cancer Society. It's coming up on Monday, June 11th at Sunset Hills Country Club. Brian Sutter, many of the Blues players will be taking part. That's the Dan Kelly Memorial Golf Tournament, June 11th. We'd love to have you take part. For more information and a spot in that tournament, call 567-9730. That's 567-9730.
We played 7 minutes of the second period. The Blues up 3-1. Now Doug Wilson to center. His long drive. Riendo a pad save as he kicked out the right leg, and the Blues shoot it back to center. Now Brett Hull at the red line steals it into Momesso on left wing. He cuts in, centers to Hull, a drive, hit the goal post. Hull hit the right goal post. Great chance there. And the puck shot to center. Now Roberts in his own line. Up to Momesso. 3-on-3, Blues to center. Momesso to Hull on right wing. Too far. And Wilson behind his own goal gets it. And the Blues are called for icing after Hull hit the right goal post about 30 seconds ago.
One of the things that's very noticeable in this period is the Blues have had puck control. They have owned the puck the better part of the play. We always talk in football about ball control. Well, there is such a thing as puck control. Hall had a fine chance from the slot, beats Millen, but rings it off the iron. You know, the idea that some team is going to stop Brett Hull is nothing but a dream. There hasn't been a team that's been able to stop him, and certainly the Blackhawks have not slowed up Hull in this game at all. But the Blues have controlled the puck so much. You really have to notice it when Savard's on, because he tends to do that for Chicago.
3-1 the Blues lead. And they clear the puck to center ice. Troy Murray for Chicago, risks it right back in. Lemieux goes in after it on left wing. He overskates it, and Rich Sutter gets it for the Blues. Long pass to Lowry, too far. Goes in on goal. Millen out of the goal. Pokes it away from Mahar. Mahar touches it. And it was called on a two-line offside pass. Almost the same kind of play the Blues scored on earlier in the contest, which was a rather controversial play.
Rick Mahar scoring with only 62 seconds left in the first period, broke a 1-1 tie on a play that appeared to be decidedly offside on a pass from inside the Blues line out over the center red line. But the linesman Kevin Collins and Gord Brosiker either did not see it or saw it another way. The Blackhawks protested, to say the least, but of course did not get anywhere. And since Brind'Amour has scored at 6:05 here in the second period, Mike Keenan's team is now down 3-1. It has been a team, as we mentioned earlier, that throughout the first round of the playoffs had good games and bad games. They would play very, very well. Then the next night that they got into a game, not play well at all. They had an especially tough time against the North Stars up at the Met Center. But they did come up with a big performance 48 hours ago in Game 7.
Brind'Amour has scored twice. Mahar has the other Blues goal. 3-1 St. Louis. A dozen minutes left in the second period. Keith Brown back in his own line. Brown to center ice. Lawler stepped at Adam Creighton though and broke it up. And now Zezel feeds it back at his own line for Featherstone. Back to Zezel into Gino Cavallini, but he can't get around the Hawk defense. Now Lemieux to center ice for Adam Creighton. He looks to clear it in. He carries it in. Van Dorp was in offside. Nothing called, though. Now Van Dorp gets it behind the Blues goal. But he's bumped off the puck by Gino Cavallini, and the Blues clear it to center. And behind the play, Lemieux and Lawler got their sticks up. And as Wilson goes back, Icing call here on the Blues, and Featherstone is upset near that Chicago bench.
Very tenacious checking by the Blues as this period goes on. Watch Chicago. They get to center ice. The wingers are back. The defensemen are standing up. The Hawks are just being checked everywhere on this ice surface, which of course is a very small ice surface, much shorter than most in the National Hockey League. Boston Garden, the only other rink that is similar to this one. But the Blues are checking. They're doing everything that they expect to do and that the coaching staff expects them to do. What about the layoff? I think it's shown that this team is as sharp now as it's been at any time in the season. The layoff apparently has not hurt the Blues one single bit.
And Bruce, you'd have to say maybe the letdown after winning a 7th game has hurt the Blackhawks.
Well, that's one thing Mike Keenan was worried about, and it looks like it may have done that. The other thing is Greg Nolan's got to have in the back of his mind, am I going to get pulled?
Well, he's been pulled 3 times so far in the playoffs. Blues lead 3-1. They come to center. Sutter tries to work it in. Knocked down. Now Steps plays it in there. A delayed offside called here as Doug Wilson carries to center. Up on right wing for Savard, off his stick. Back comes Mahar with Sutter. A pass to Sutter, but it hit Doug Wilson's skate and never got through. And Wilson carries to center. Up ahead for Savard. Broken up by Steps. Up to Dave Lowry on left wing. He barges into the Hawk zone. Now to Mahar in the corner. Behind the goal. Thomas there. Gets it ahead for Larmer. Larmer at center ice for Savard. 2 Blues are back. Now Savard across the line. Into Thomas. A quick shot. High off the glass. And it's not kept in by Conroy back in the point. Manson at center. Long shot. And Riendo a pad save there, but it was called moments ago on an offside. It's so loud in here you can't hear the whistles. 3-1 the Blues lead. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Wilson, John Kelly, Bruce Affleck at Chicago Stadium. Game 1 of the Norris Division Finals, a best-of-7 series. The Blues are dominating, out-shooting Chicago 11-6. They've outscored them 3-1.
Now at center ice, the Blues, Brindamore. He has 2 goals. He skates ahead, long dump in, Millen, a blocker save. Now McLean on right wing shoots it wide. Puck loose on the near side. Oates stole it from Presley. Now Oates on the boards for Brindamore. Brindamore works it in deep in the corner, tied up by Manson. Now McLean tried to center, knocked away though, and the puck slid back down the ice, and Paul Cavallini back at his own line. Pass off the boards to McLean at center. Paul McLean ahead to Roberts. He rushes across the line. Good pass to Oates. In the slot to McLean. He can't shoot it though. Kept in though by Roberts. In the corner for Brindamore. To Oates, a drive, and he put it just wide. Great give and go there. Held in by Roberts on the right point. To McLean behind the goal. In front to Brindamore. Can't shoot it. Now he centers one right in front. And McLean missed it. Now Cavallini in the right point. Held it in. Into Brindamore. Right in. Brindamore shot. Pad save by Millen on Brindamore's bid for the hat trick. And the Hawks are back to center. Here's Manson along dump in. That goes wide. And Brindamore for St. Louis. Flips it high to center. And the Hawk fans starting to get a bit upset with their club here. The Blues lead 3-1. 9:09 to go, second period. Troy Murray can't work in, and back come the Blues. Here's Brett Hull in on left wing, right in a shot. He scores! Brett Hull on a semi-breakaway makes it 4-1 St. Louis. He gets his 6th goal of the playoffs.
Oh, the Blues are playing so well. They are just dominating. And when you do those little things, forecheck, check thoroughly, take the man, grind him out, you sooner or later will get the puck. Standing up were the Blues there at their own blue line, and Hull gets it, makes a nifty move outside and beats Millen low on his stick side. Brett Hull scores to make it 4-1. Boy, is he something. Did he pick that out? He had some time, and then Yanni, a cheap shot, dumps him after he scores the goal. And of course, That is recorded without any question.
I think the Hawks are going to make a goaltending change here as Hall beat Millen low stick side. And Bruce Affleck, I guess it's no surprise that Mike Keenan will get the hook out here.
Well, we were wondering after the third goal. He's waited until Brett Hall gives the Blues a 4-1 lead. And we talked to Greg Nolan this morning at practice. I said, Greg, does a goaltender get used to being pulled? And he says, no, we'll never get used to it. I know he's trying to do it for, to help the hockey team, but it definitely gets at guys like Greg Nolan, the goaltender. But he'll come to the bench, as we see, and try and fire up his hockey club as Coach Mike Keenan makes the goaltending change to try and get his club going. But the Blues are playing so well.
Well, a youngster comes in, Ed Belfour. He's seen a lot of action. Boy, Millen is really screaming at the charges. They haven't done much, that's for sure. The Blues haven't allowed them to. And his fourth playoff game is Ed Belfour. He's a University of North Dakota product who played this season with the Canadian national team. Well, Millen's a leader, we know that. He's hot. He's not happy to be down 4-1, and he's not happy about what his team was doing out in front of him.
Well, Belfour has appeared in a couple of games already in the playoffs. 3 games, has a 1-1 record, a 1.76 average. And he's in there after Millen let in 4 goals on 13 shots. Now playing away, the Blues, Momesso. He'll clear it down the ice. Chase goes in after it. He bumps Yanni into the boards. They grew up together in Saskatchewan. And now the Blackhawks back to center. Here's Steve Thomas on right wing, bumped by Mike Waller. And Manson back in his own zone. Far side for Yanni. He skates to center. Long, high dump in. Comes down near corner to the left of Riendo. Now Momesso behind his goal for Featherstone. Pass off the boards. Tipped to center by Kelly Chase. Now Manson at his own line. Up ahead for Jeremy Roenick. His long dump in. Off the boards. Lemieux gets it. Behind the Blues goal. Centers one. Roenick missed it. And the Blues take over. And Momesso a pass at center for Brett Hull. He'll play it down the ice. Less than 8 minutes to play in the period. The Blues lead 4-1. Now at center ice, Gino Cavallini broke it up. Good pass to Brett Hull. His long drive blocked. Hull gets it again, right in a shot. Oh, and a big save there by Belfour on Brett Hull. And it's cleared over the boards. So the rookie Belfour tested there. Blues up by 3. It's 4-1. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Tom? Tell John, I don't know if you can hear me, but Chicago was down 3-0 to Minnesota and made a change and came back and won.
Yeah, I heard. What game was that? We heard him.
I'll try and find out.
That's right, game 2. They won 5-3.
7:41 to go, second period. Blues lead at 4-1. Brind'Amour and Hull have scored in this period. Hull moments ago had another fine chance, moved in alone, and the newcomer to the goal crease, Ed Belfour, made the save. Jocelyn Lemieux just before that swept the puck right in front, and it tipped off Featherstone's skate away from Roenick, who had a great chance. Game 2 of the first series, Chicago against Minnesota. They were down 3-0, the Hawks were, when they brought Belfour in, and place of Millen, they went on to win that game. So they have turned the tide with a change before.
Now the Hawks to center. They clear it in, but the play was offside. We'll pause here 15 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Edmonton Oilers, who faced elimination down 3-1 to Winnipeg, have a 2-0 lead in the first period at the Northlands Coliseum over Los Angeles. The Kings, of course, eliminated Calgary.
Here the Blues lead 4-1. 7:20 to go in the second period. Now the Blackhawks to center. Doug Wilson across the line in a slot. Backhander by Larmer and Riendo. A pad save and a dandy there. And now it's tipped to center by Gino Cavallini. Hawks bring it right back in. Larmer, left wing for Troy Murray. He plays it behind the goal. Roberts holds up Gilbert. He'll get a penalty here. as play is called. As Roberts got the arm in on Gilbert. 4-1 the Blues lead. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
St. Louis penalty number 4 for Roberts, given for holding at 13:01. St. Louis penalty Roberts, given for holding at 13:01.
13:01 of the second period, the time of the 2-minute holding penalty to Gordy Roberts. Only the third penalty of the game. That's a big upset. Gordy grabbed on Greg Gilbert behind the net. Gilbert got his elbow up, and Roberts said, "You're not going anywhere." Both teams tonight are 0 for 1 on the power play.
Blues lead 4-1. Hawks get it back on the right point to Yanni. Right wing for Larmer. Centers in front, a drive. Oh, what a save there by Riendo on Wayne Presley. He was set up on left wing. Now Doug Wilson back on the point. In for Presley, he missed it. Roenick in the far corner. He's tied up by Lawler, he lost it, and Dave Lowry scoops it down the ice. Doug Wilson back at his own line. Blues make some changes in the penalty killing unit. Now Larmer back across the line. Here's Larmer on left wing for Chicago. Right in front. Rebound. They score. Yanni on the rebound. And that makes it 4-2.
Trent Yanni gets his first goal of the playoffs. Chicago moving the puck well. The Blues able to clear it out, and then eventually the Hawks would come back. Doug Wilson would get it in over to Larmer. He'd play it to the front of the net. Roenick couldn't get a shot, tried to get it to his forehand. It slipped away, and Yanni moving in from the right point plays it off the trapper of Riendo. The power play goal, the first power play goal of the game, and it's 4-2 St. Louis.
Now off the draw at center. McLean for the Blues clears it in. Out there with Brindamore and Oates. This line has been dominant tonight. Now the Hawks, Lemieux on left wing. Pass near the line, held in by Brindamore. Shot. That goes wide. Belfour scoops it to the near corner. Blues on it there. Now it comes in front. Brindamore overskates it. And it's carried to center by Thomas. To Lemieux. He'll flip it in. Behind the Blues goal is Jeff Brown. He missed a check. Oh, and Creighton hit the boards behind the Blues goal. And the puck worked to center. Here's Brindamore with 2 goals. He skates in on right wing. Now Brindamore. Good pass in the corner for Oates. To Jeff Brown, walks in, a shot. And it's off a leg and just wide. And the Hawks take over Manson with 5:25 to go in the period. Blues up 4-2. Manson to Thomas at center. Down the right wing side. Long dump in goes wide. And Paul McLean has lost his helmet. Shoots it off a Hawk player. And over the boards. And now play is called.
You can really feel the intensity of the Blackhawks pickup. The crowd, of course, has come back to life on Trent Yanni's goal from Roenick and Larmer. A power play goal at 13:43. This is very much a key point in this game. And Bruce Affleck, we've watched Greg Millen screaming at his team. They get the goal, and you really can feel things starting to go Chicago's way. McLean, of course, got high-sticked and elbowed a few times there by Troy Murray. Chopped him. McLean, not a very happy player, Bruce, as he left the ice.
No, he certainly wasn't. And the Blues have got to be careful here, Ken. They've got to slow things down a little bit, get Chicago back down a level or two, because the crowd is going to bring them back into this game, and that's exactly what Mike Keenan wanted. It really wasn't the change maybe of goaltending, but the power play goal has gotten Chicago back in this game.
Yeah, I'm a little bit worried here.
Blues still lead by 2 though off the draw. Roberts in front of his own goal. Now pass behind the net to Momesso on left wing. He scoops it over the glass and out of play. Well, you mentioned the Hawks overcame a 3-0 deficit in Game 2 to win 5-3. Earlier this year, the Blues had a 3-0 lead and lost that wild one 9-6, so they've blown a lead here this year.
Well, it can happen either way. You get to this point, neither team is going to flip over and quit, that's for sure. What the Blues have to do now is keep doing the little things that they have done all night. They can't get flustered and get away from a plan that has worked very, very well. And I'm sure that if Chicago were to come back more, Brian Sutter would immediately say, well, as soon as Yanni got the power play goal, we quit doing the little things. Let's hope that doesn't happen.
5 minutes left, second period. Blues up 4-2. They clear it up the boards, held in by Yanni on the right point, but he made a hand pass, and now when Larmer touches it, play is called, and they'll move the face-off back to center ice.
We'd like to congratulate Todd B. Buss of Florissant. He's been awarded the first Dan Kelly Scholarship in Communication at St. Louis University. The scholarship provides $1,500 for a student majoring in communication, renewable through the senior year. Todd Buss, a senior at St. Louis Preparatory High School, ranks 3rd in his class. Our congratulations, and enjoy the scholarship and enjoy a career that Dan Kelly thoroughly loved.
Now the Blues to center. Brett Hull along, dump in, off the near board. Zezel picks it up. His bouncer goes wide. Wilson behind his net. Up to Presley. Not cleared, though. Held in by Paul Cavallini. Now Hull goes after it. Chops it up in the air. It comes down to Jeremy Roda. His pass to center ice. Roberts at his own line for the Blues. Now for Zezel up on left wing. Good pass to Paul Cavallini. He comes in on left wing. Cavallini tried to center one. Off a leg and wide. Roenick there. Brings it off the glass to center. Roberts back to get it. And he knocked it away from Presley just in the nick of time. Now Wilson at his own line. Near side for Trent Yanni. Yanni, a former member of the Canadian Olympic team, shoots it in around the boards. It goes. Brett Hull is there. Can't clear it out though. Kept in. The Hawks center one. Presley knocked down in front. Van Giel, but nothing called. Now it's cleared to Hull on right wing again. Failed to get it out. Now Paul Cavallini in the far corner. Bumped by Presley. Dug free by the Hawks. Creighton behind the goal. Walks in front, a shot. Riendo, a pad save on Creighton. And the Blues come to center. Here's Brett Hull. He's got a goal tonight. Blues lead 4-2, and Hull dumps it in. 3:25 to go in the period, and now the Blues are called for icing as Hull did not cross center, and that will cost the Blues a face-off in their own end. The Blues lead. I didn't hear you.
The Blues have held Chicago to 10 shots, 4 in the first period, 6 in this period. The Blues have had 7 shots on goal in each period.
And they lead 4-2. Face off to the right of Riendo. Hawks dig it free. Troy Murray can't walk in front. Now Mahar plays it behind his goal. To Lowry near side. He's bumped by Brown, but he works it down the ice. Boy, we haven't seen Denny Savard in a long time, have we? Now Manson at center. Nearly lost it. Carries on, though. He'll shoot it in. Featherstone back for the Blues. Off the boards. Plays one to center. Now Brown slams it back in, but Lawler blocked it. Good pass to Mahar at center. The Blues captain plays it in. Belfour now shoots it behind his goal. Up the boards. Kept in, though, by McLean. He can't get a shot away, and Goulet feeds Lemieux. 3-on-2 break. Lemieux comes in on right wing. Lets it go. Big save. Rebound. Oh, Riendo. Rob Goulet on the rebound. What a save there. And Lawler is back. Now to Jeff Brown. He comes in on left wing. Now they center one to Brindamore, broken up. And back are the Hawks, 3-on-2. Creighton across the line, a shot. Block, rebound. Riendo a save. It's loose there. No goal. The whistle had blown. Morrell had blown the whistle. The red light comes on, but I don't think there's any question that Morrell had blown it dead.
Well, he lost sight of the puck. The last two rushes the Blackhawks had, the Blues were caught changing both times. This time Adam Creighton moves in. His shot was blocked, but the puck came right in front. Gilbert stopped by Riendo. And somehow Riendo keeps the puck out. And that was Morrell losing sight of it, blowing the whistle. Moments before that, Riendo made an unbelievable save on a rebound effort. Boy, the Hawks have really come on since the power play goal at 13:43 that Yanni scored. The Blues have their hands full now. Right there, referee Morrell stopped play. The puck eventually going in, but after the whistle. Riendo has been very steady his first playoff start, and he and the Blues lead it 4-2. Game 2 of this best-of-7 series will be here at Chicago Stadium on Friday night on our Blues radio network, and again on KPLR TV St. Louis 11 at 7:30 Friday night.
Hawks get the draw. Doug Wilson, a shot off the side of the goal. Hawks control. Now Thomas tried to center, broken up. Puck cleared around the boards. Rick Sutter is there, and Sutter works the puck near the line, but not out. Now Creighton behind the Blues goal. Creighton carries in front, puts it right through the goal crease. Now played behind the goal by Doug Wilson, but steps there for the Blues. He can't work it away. Hawks have intense pressure on Yanni. A drive blocked by Jeff Brown, and Brown clears it around the boards. Not out again. Wilson kept it in right point. Now for Thomas in the far corner. He was tripped up. Penalty called here on the Blues. Hawks center one. Creighton shoots. He scores! Adam Creighton! And that makes it 4-3.
Creighton, the former Sabre, who has been in a scoring slump, caps it in a scramble. The Blues were in trouble. The defensemen were continually getting beat. There was a penalty coming up, and Creighton in front with that big long reach, able to slap it in. Boy, Creighton's tough to contend with in front. He scores to make it 4-3 Blues.
Now 90 seconds left in the period. Blues are back. Here's Brindamore up 2 Oaks. Because the Hawks scored, no penalty call. It's wiped out. Now Brindamore across the line. Works around a man. Now to the far corner. Centers one. No one there. Oates back in the left point for the Blues. To Roberts. Roberts can't shoot it. And Presley feeds Larmer. He comes to center. Back to Presley, but the play was offside with 64 seconds to go in the period. And Bruce Affleck, I was just about to say if the Blues could take a 2-goal lead in the locker room, they'd be good shape, but now it's very tense.
It certainly is, John, and little things can change a hockey club, change the momentum. You saw the power play goal by Trent Yanni, and it's really excited this crowd and the Chicago Blackhawks. They're playing extremely well, and the Blues really just have to get this period over and regroup. They were really just controlling the Chicago Blackhawks. And Yanni's goal changed all that, a power play goal. So Blues obviously want to get into this end of this period 1 goal ahead.
Now a minute to go in the period. Blues come to center. Here's Oates to Brindamore. He comes in on left wing. A blast, and he put it just wide. Oates kept it in behind the goal to Brindamore. He missed it. And the Hawks Lemieux on it there. Up the boards to Troy Murray. He was bumped, kept in by Oates. Centers one. Now Paul Cavallini in the right point. He works in. And now a penalty called here. With 38 seconds to go in the period, a Hawk player will go. And will McLean go as well? We'll wait.
That last goal at 18:24, Creighton's first of the playoffs from Gilbert and Thomas. The goal that ignited them at 13:43 on the power play, Yanni from Roenick and Larmer. Yanni's first. Jocelyn Lemieux back for the puck. He and McLean get their skates up high. And McLean fares well in that situation. Doug Wilson picks up the penalty. Games 3 and 4 of this series will be at the arena in St. Louis this coming Sunday and next Tuesday. And tickets for those games are on sale at the arena box office and all Blues ticket outlets. You can call 434-6600 for tickets. Don't forget a 6:05 start for Game 3 Sunday night at the arena. Also, group discounts are available for games during this second round. For more information, call Wes or John at the Blues Sales Department tomorrow, 781-5300.
Now 30 seconds left in the second period. The Blues in a power play. They're 0 for 1 tonight on the power play. Here's Paul to center ice. He'll dump it in, but he shot it too high. And the puck goes over the boards. And the faceoff will be at center ice.
Well, there's no question things have changed. I thought until Chicago got hot with that power play that the Blues maybe were playing as well as any time we've seen them all season. That's how much they were dominating. That's how much they were doing the little things. That's how much Brett Hull was able to get open and get his usual scoring chances. And that's how well Riendo was playing in goal. Of course, there were not many shots until recently for Riendo to contend with. That's how well Ron Wilson and the rest of the Blues were playing defensively. But all that has changed, and Chicago, down 4-1, has scored twice to make it a 4-3 game. And somehow the Blues have to stop these Hawks, and maybe it'll just be the fact that the second period runs out.
Now 22 seconds to go in the period. Face off at center. Wilson gets it back for Oates. He'll shoot it in there. Belfour behind the net, stopped it, cleared it up the boards, and it got by Oates at the line. Picked up by Larmer. To Lemieux, one man back. Lemieux a backhander. That goes wide. Now behind the goal. Lemieux lost it. Oates gets it. He feeds one to Brett Hull. This will do it as Hull cleared it away, and the horn sounds to end the period. Well, a wide open period, and the Blues still maintain the 1-goal lead they took to the locker room after one period. 4-3 St. Louis after 2. Coming up during the intermission, Bruce Affleck will visit with Blues captain Rick Mahar. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Official Blackhawk hotline at 736 HAWK.
Hey, Tom, do we have Mahar's goal? What a guy, what a guy.
We're not on a camera up here, Tom. Goal? Right. Not now.
Yeah.
Okay.
After 2 periods in Chicago, the Blues lead the Blackhawks 4-3. Well, late in the first period, a controversial goal by Rick Mahar, and the tide turned. The last 8 minutes of the second period belonged to the Blackhawks. What's the story? Well, Bruce is with Rick Mahar.
Well, thank you, Ken. And we are visiting with Captain Rick Mahar. And first, Rick, I guess we'll go to your goal back in the first period. It's been called a controversial goal. I know the Blackhawks were upset about it. We're going to get a chance to watch it. Maybe you can describe it.
Well, Richie's got the puck along the boards, and he throws it up, and I was going to take it, and then I figured Davey was by himself over there, and, like you see, it's, it looked like it was offside by the replay, and, he made a great pass to me to get it over, and I just put it along the ice between Millen's pads. So, it all works out. We've had a few called back on us, and, a couple goals that called against us, and it all works out.
You go back to last year, the first 2 games in St. Louis against the Hawks, 2 big goals called back for you, so it can change things around. It could change the series. We let them back in the game tonight. We're up 4-1, and they get a power play goal, which, we got a mistake, or we had 2 guys on one side of the ice, and we didn't have anybody over there to cover Yanni. And the other one was a delayed call, and they left a guy in front of the net. So there's 2 goals that really it wasn't so much they outworked us that we kind of gave to them, but we got to get back to the third period, work hard, and play some St. Louis Blues hockey. Talk about St. Louis Blues hockey. Well prepared for the first couple games against Toronto. Looked like you were dominating actually the Hawks in the early part of this game, the first period and a half. Really, momentum changes. Little things can change it. How do you get it back?
Well, right now, thank goodness that was the end of the period. They put on a flurry for 5 minutes, and
that was the end of the game.
Yeah, it'd be great. It was the end of the third, but we had to come out in the third period and get back to the way we're playing. We can't open it up like we said against Toronto that we couldn't open the game up and play their style of hockey, and that's exactly what we did for the last 5 minutes of that period. And we got to get back to the way we can play, tight checking and hit some people, dump it in and get on them and force them to make some mistakes.
Do you play against the Hawks any differently in the playoffs, let's say, than you would during the regular season?
I don't think so. The emotions are pretty high in playoffs, as everybody knows, but you don't play the Chicago Blackhawks any different than you would in the regular season. We have to key on some of their more important people, like Savard and Larmer, who is probably, I think, their most dangerous player. Doug Wilson, of course, because he can shoot the puck. But we just have to concentrate on a few guys. But it's hard work that's going to beat the Chicago Blackhawks.
Talk about Dennis Savard, your job. We didn't see him too much in the second period.
Well, we've been doing, Ronnie Wilson and I, we've been alternating shifts, and he goes out one time, and then I'll go out and take the face off the next time. So if he's on the ice, then I'll stay on. If he's not, I'll come off. But, I think maybe when we like to frustrate him, and maybe that's the case tonight. I hope it's the case tonight. But, Ronnie's doing a great job, and as a tandem, it's a lot easier for us to watch him.
Rick, as you talk about this series, you want to come into Chicago. Do you look at it just saying win one of the first 2 here, or do you want all 2?
Well, first of all, I think for the St. Louis Blues, that's too far ahead, and we want to look at one game at a time, one period at a time, 5 minutes at a time, and that's the way Brian wants us to look at it, and that's what we have to do as players. We can't look at the second game right now because we'll get ourselves in trouble. This game isn't over yet, but we're going to go one game at a time, and it'd be nice to win the first one, and then we can concentrate on the second one when it comes.
Rick, thank you very much for joining us. Good luck in the third period.
Thank you, Bruce.
We thank Rick Mahar for joining us. Back upstairs.
All right, Bruce Affleck, we're between the second and third periods of Game 1 of the best-of-7 Norris Division Final Series. And the Blues lead the Blackhawks 4-3. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Tommy? Yeah, can you talk to me a little bit? Go. Okay, you're there now. Yeah.
Hello. Tom, I didn't have any cue sheet or anything. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't have it. I realized when you cued me that I should have it, but wasn't anywhere to be seen. Blackhawks coming back. I'll tell you, the last 5 or 6 minutes of that second period hectic, and I think Rick Mahar put it best. We're just lucky that the second period came to an end. Let's take a look at the highlights. The Blues went into the second period leading at John 2-1.
And Brindamore made it 3-1 after Momesso made a great pass from behind the goal. McLean put it back there. And then Momesso centered one to Brindamore. A quick shot appeared to hit Millen in the glove and went behind him. The Blues led 3-1 at that point.
Blues were really dominating. That goal at 6:05 of the second period. Here, Hall gets his 6th of the playoffs at 10:59. He feathers it low on the stick side. Roberts gets the assist, and that gave the Blues a 4-1 lead, and they were really playing well at that point.
And at that time, the Hawks pulled their goalie. Belfort came in, and the Hawks got a couple on the power play. Ianni on the rebound. Millen, or rather Riendo, got a glove on that shot by Ianni, but it went off his glove into the net. That made it 4-2, and then the crowd got back in the game.
That was at 13:43, and then less than 2 minutes to go. The Hawks were all over the Blues. There was a delayed penalty coming up. The puck comes right in front, and big Adam Creighton knocks it in. Gilbert and Thomas assisting at 18:24, the first playoff goal for Adam Creighton, who had been in a slump. Thus, the Blues lead now is 4-3, and there's no question the first few minutes of this third period, John, are going to be rather pivotal.
Well, I would say they will be very pivotal, and this third period could be the period that will decide this series. If the Blues want to lose this game, and I'm not a pessimist, I think they can still win it, but if you blow a 3-goal lead in game one and the other team's building, you're in big trouble.
Let's put it this way, Rich. I think this game, at least the first 40 minutes, have been a lot like what we expect this series to be. Up and down, very close, and very exciting hockey. I believe you.
Boom.
We can lose the mixed minus. We
Tom?
still have the mixed minus here.
Hey, Tom. Bob McGill, the Blackhawks defenseman, just left on crutches.
Yeah.
Going to the hospital to have his ankle x-rayed.
Blues lead 4-3 after 2 periods. Both clubs are back on the ice. In that second period, the Blues took a 4-1 lead. Brindamore at 6:05 from Momesso, and McLean. Hall made it 4-1 from Roberts at 10:59. But then Belfort came in for Millen. It changed the tide. Yanni scored at 13:43 from Roenick and Larmer, a power play goal. And the late goal at 18:24, Creighton from Gilbert and Thomas. And it's now 4-3 Blues after 2. Shots on goal in the second period. Chicago 12, St. Louis 7. And the Hawks have outshot the Blues 16-14 so far in the contest. Doug Wilson still has 1:22 to go in his interference minor. So the Blues begin the third period with a power play. And Bruce Affleck, if the Blues could ever score on this power play, I think it would change the momentum one more time.
That's exactly what they want to do, is get the momentum back in their favor. And that would definitely do it by getting a power play goal, or at least getting some great chances, putting the pressure back on Chicago.
Here we go, the 1990 playoffs, the Norris Division Finals. This is period 3, and the Blues lead the Hawks 4-3. Blues power play, and at center ice there'll be a penalty, and Larmer taken down, and the penalty will be against Rod Brind'Amour. That's the last thing that the Blues wanted to happen. 3 seconds into the third period. Both teams now shorthanded for the next 1 minute and 19 seconds.
Brind'Amour for hooking at the 3-second mark. When leading after 2 periods this year, the Blues record 33-2, including a 4-0 record in the playoffs. When trailing after 2 this year, the Hawks record 3-25, and the record in the playoffs when down after 2, 0-3. But a Brind'Amour hooking call puts each team a man short, and in 1:19 the Hawks will get their third power play. So that's not a good omen to begin the period.
That is only the 5th penalty of the game. That's a big upset. Gordy Roberts, 2 Oates, he'll bank it in. Yanni back for Chicago with Brown, Larmer, and Savard. Yanni with it. Hall and Wilson forechecking. Keith Brown, or I should say Jeff Brown, and Gordy Roberts on defense for the Blues. Here is Steve Larmer, the veteran. Up the right wing, into the blue zone. Poke check. Keith Brown moves in. A shot right on, and a good save by Riendo. Hull back the other way with Ron Wilson. Into the Chicago zone. Hull tries to move in front. Stopped by Yanni. Keith Brown, a pass too far for Larmer. Jeff Brown back in his own end. Over to Roberts. Half a minute until Doug Wilson's back on. Gordy Roberts comes to center ice. He'll flip the puck into the Chicago end. Both teams changing. Here's Dave Manson. Ahead to Michel Goulet. Trying to get around Lowry. Comes in front. And one hands it on. Riendo the save. And then into the net goes Goulet. And that knocks it loose and play is stopped. The Blues were very close to picking up a penalty there, as the veteran Michel Goulet made a very nice move.
Well, Goulet, who was benched for 3 games in the first round, went around Lawler, but Mike got back in the nick of time with the help of Harold Snepps, took Goulet down, and he slid into Riendo. Goulet, remember, back on March 11th in the Blues' 6-4 win here, was hammered at center ice by Glenn Featherstone, and he missed about 2 weeks with sore ribs, but he's back now.
Both teams are shorthanded. A shot by Conroy blocked from the faceoff, and the Hawks carry the puck all the way back into their own end. Manson to Conroy. He'll shoot it in. After it is Goulet. He's there ahead of Snepps. Then Snepps takes him out behind the net. Roenick crunched by Lawler. Conroy moves in. Hit by Lowry. Doug Wilson back on. Chicago has the power play. In the corner, a battle for the puck. And then play is stopped as referee Denny Morrell stops the action. And when play resumes, there'll be 31 seconds to go in Rod Brind'Amour's penalty. Brind'Amour has scored 2 of the Blues goals. Mahar and Hall have the others, and the Blues lead it 4-3.
Well, one thing Mike Keenan knows, his club has a lot of experience. Their average age nearly 30, and their combined playoff experience totals 1,088 games. Their average player has 54 games of playoff experience. The Blues average only 31 games of playoff experience. So there's no question the Hawks have been there before.
Action resumes in the Blues zone. Doug Wilson's pass shot knocked away and cleared down the ice. Bahar, Lowry, Snepps, and Lawler killing the penalty. Brind'Amour back in 15 seconds. This is Wayne Presley. Up front to Larmer. Roenick the other forward, back to Presley, moving in, right wing, a shot off the stick of Lawler into the crowd. Lawler gives Presley a bump and they'll fight. Lawler going at him with rights and some pretty good ones, and then a haymaker from Presley, and Presley falls down as the linesmen get between Wayne Presley and Mike Lawler. No question about it, Lawler gave Presley a very heavy ride in back of the Blues net after his shot. Early in the third period, the Blues lead it 4-3. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
St. Louis penalty number 26, Mike Lawler, 5 minutes for fighting. Blackhawk penalty number 17, Wayne Presley, 5 minutes for fighting at 1:56. St. Louis penalty, Lawler, 5 minutes for fighting. Blackhawk penalty, Presley, 5 minutes for fighting at 1:56.
Lawler and Presley get fighting majors at 1:56. The Blues lead the game 4-3. Brind'Amour will come back on in 7 seconds. Presley came in on right wing there, and his shot was tipped over the glass, and then he and Lawler got their sticks up, and Lawler got a couple of good rights in the fight.
Power play, Chicago. Doug Wilson from the point, a shot knocked down. Blues clear it out. Brind'Amour returns to the ice. Just past the 2-minute mark, third period. Blues, Ron Wilson swats the puck in wide of Ed Belfour. Back for it, Chicago. Up to Goulet, now to Creighton. He's got a man, Thomas, on the right wing, who takes the pass on his backhand in front for Creighton. Tips it right on. Brilliant save, Riendo. Here's Thomas back to Doug Wilson. A drive. Oh, Riendo kicks that out. Keith Brown, a shot. That's knocked down. The puck behind the Blues net. Brind'Amour goes down. And McLean clears it through center ice all the way down over the end red line. Keith Brown touches it, and it is an icing call against the Blues. 2 dazzling saves by young goaltender Vincent Riendo, appearing in just his second Stanley Cup playoff game. Boy, he was brilliant there, John.
He certainly was. As Thomas made a great play, came on the right wing, got it in front, and Adam Creighton somehow reached around Paul Cavallini, and got a stick on that centering pass, and Riendo made a big right pad save there, and now we have some problems with the glass back in the Hawks zone, so we'll have a slight delay. But Creighton simply reached around. Paul Cavallini got one hand on the shot, but Riendo got the right pad down. Chris Affleck, we mentioned earlier in the contest that Bob McGill left the game, and I understand you have an updated report concerning McGill.
Bob McGill has gone to the hospital to have x-rays on his left ankle. He walked out of here on crutches. Hopefully nothing serious to Bob McGill, but he will not be back tonight.
Blues late 4-3. We have a delay as they fix the glass. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Face-off near Riendo, won by the Blues. Jeff Brown up in the left wing to Momesso, too far. At center ice, Yanni shoots it back in. And Riendo knocks the puck down for steps, teamed with Jeff Brown. Left wing to Momesso. On a line with Zezel and Hall. He gives it to Hall at the red line. Back to Momesso, moving in, dropping it at the right point. Brown, a shot! Pad save, Belfour. Rebound attempt by Momesso, stopped, and then Hall can't get a chance. Here's Creighton the other way, 3-on-3. Adam Creighton cuts into the corner, now behind the net. Far corner, takes a hit. Loose puck behind the Blues net. Played up to Momesso, and he'll just clear it ahead for Zezel, trying to get around Keith Brown. He can't. And Jeff Brown moves in for the Blues and knocks the puck behind the Chicago net. Both teams are changing. 3.5 minutes into the third period. A long pass for Jeremy Roenick, too far. Paul Cavallini in possession of the puck in his own end. Up on the wing for Lowry. He'll tip it into the Chicago zone. Here's Dave Manson back. Manson on with Keith Brown, Roenick, Savard, and also Steve Larmer. The pass in the middle of the rink for Larmer by on the length of the ice. Roberts touches it, and it's an icing call against Chicago. 9 seconds shy of the 4-minute mark. Third period, a period that has been scoreless, and it is 4-3 Blues. They led at one point, 4-1, but Yanni and Creighton scored late in the second period.
Well, back in the Hawks zone, Rich Sutter fell down, or was knocked down, and now he gets up very slowly. Sutter was cut for about 10 stitches by Ed Olczyk in Game 5 against Toronto, but he's all right. one thing the Blues have done in the playoffs thus far, they've had the lead virtually throughout the playoffs. And counting this game, the Blues have taken a lead into the locker room 8 times now after the first or second period, and they've trailed only once after the first or second period. And Ken, there's no question, when you lead a hockey game, especially in the playoffs, you're in the driver's seat.
A lot of talking going on with the linesman, and the Blues seem to be unhappy with Gord Brosiker. And he says, let's go, let's play hockey. These Blackhawks are trying to move into the Campbell Conference Finals for the 5th time since 1982. They were in them in 82, 83, 85, and 89, and they've won only 4 games in those 4 series. Big save there by Belfour. Hawks to center ice. Here's Manson. He'll wind up from the blue line, and a bad save by Riendo. Roberts ahead behind Sutter, and the puck goes all the way to Belfour in goal for Chicago, and he shoots it over the glass, and it goes into the crowd. And now the Blackhawks are all over Denny Morrell, who could call a delay of game penalty. We are 4 minutes, 10 seconds into the 3rd period, and the Blues lead the Blackhawks 4-3. Morrell has no idea of calling such a penalty, and the faceoff will be in the circle near the Chicago net.
Well, the rule states that the goalie clears it over the glass without it hitting a player on the way out. It's a delay of game, but I think there's no question it hit the Hawk player on the way out of the rink, and that's why it wasn't called. By the way, we welcome those of you listening on KMOX Radio in St. Louis, joining Blues hockey after the Cardinal baseball game. The Blues led 2-1 after 1. Goals by Brindamore and Mahar. Wilson scored for the Hawks. Brindamore and Hall scored in the second period to make it 4-1. At that point, Greg Millen was yanked. Rookie Ed Belfour came in. The Hawks got goals from Yanni and Creighton to cut the lead to 4-3. That's where we stand now with 15:50 left in the 3rd period.
Ed Belfour looking out to his left, the face-off. Roenick for Chicago, Oates for the Blues. Oates is on with McLean, who gets the puck, takes a shot, and Belfour makes the save. The other forward is Brindamore. Sneps and Featherstone are on defense. Here's another drive by McLean. Belfour the save. Then Larmer gathers in the puck. Plays it rink wide to Michel Goulet. His feed for Roenick, too far at center ice. Here's Brindamore, long shot right on. Belfour another save. Back for the puck, Trent Yannick. He's teamed on the Hawk defense with Doug Wilson, who takes a pass. Up on the near wing to Goulet. Back for Doug Wilson, the helmetless defenseman. He'll flip it in front. Brindamore back, beats Roenick to the puck. Then it's loose in the corner near the Blues net. Taking it is Brindamore. He can't get any skating room and just clears the zone, and Keith Brown shoots it right back in. Chicago changing players. The puck comes to center ice, and McLean with it. He's wedged out by Troy Murray. Manson in front of his net. Right wing to Larmer with Gilbert and Troy Murray. The pass knocked down. Now Gilbert carries in. Greg Gilbert shoots. Pad save, Riendo. Gilbert along the boards. Boy, Riendo's been sharp tonight. To Troy Murray. Behind the net. Troy Murray comes in front. On his forehand, a shot blocked. There'll be a penalty. And it'll apparently be against Gordy Roberts. And Roberts and Momesso are red hot with referee Denny Morrell. And the Blues, who lead at 4-3, are going to be shorthanded as Gordy Roberts goes off. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
St. Louis penalty number 4 for Roberts, 2 minutes for cross-checking at 5:20. And Blues penalty Roberts, 2 minutes for cross-checking at 5:20.
Well, a cross-checking call at 5:20. The Blues will be short-handed. They lead by 1. The Hawks are 1 of 3 in the power play. And this crowd getting back into things. The Blues really upset with that last call by Morrell. They thought the penalty was against the Blackhawks, but instead Roberts goes off.
Here's the face-off in the Blues' end, and Sneps gets it and shoots the puck down the ice. I thought that the Roberts penalty in the second period at 13:01 really turned this game around. That's when Yanni got the power play goal. Ben Creighton scored. Now Savard to center ice, shoots it in. Blues back for the puck, and Sneps gets it, and he'll clear it the length of the ice. Aaron Lowry out there, replaced now by Sutter and Wilson. Sneps and Paul Cavallini on defense. Hawks have the man advantage. They're looking for a goal that would tie it as we approach the 6-minute mark of the third period. Yanni to center ice, shoots it in, grabbed by Sneps. He just flips the puck all the way back to the Chicago zone. Doug Wilson off the boards for Goulet. In the middle for Savard, over his stick to Larmer. He'll shoot it in off a Blues player. Loose puck. Blues can't clear. Larmer is shot wide. Puck behind the net. Goulet into the corner to Denny Savard. The Blackhawks are dangerous. Savard top of the left circle to Wilson. A drive right on. Big save by Riendo and Doug Wilson. Here's Savard with it again. Blues are shorthanded. Into the slot to Yanni. To the blue line to Wilson. Left circle to Savard. Michel Goulet's in front. Savard gets it, and he'll clear it the length of the ice. Aaron Lowry out there, replaced now by Sutter and Wilson. Sneps and Paul Cavallini on defense. Hawks have the man advantage. They're looking for a goal that would tie it as we approach the 6-minute mark of the third period. Yanni to center ice, shoots it in, grabbed by Sneps. He just flips the puck all the way back to the Chicago zone. Doug Wilson off the boards for Goulet. In the middle for Savard, over his stick to Larmer. He'll shoot it in off a Blues player. Loose puck. Blues can't clear. Larmer is shot wide. Puck behind the net. Goulet into the corner to Denny Savard. The Blackhawks are dangerous. Savard top of the left circle to Wilson. A drive right on. Big save by Riendo and Doug Wilson. Here's Savard with it again. Blues are shorthanded. Into the slot to Yanni. To the blue line to Wilson. Left circle to Savard. Michel Goulet's in front. Savard a drive. Can't save Riendo. Puck along the boards. Blues can't clear it out. Doug Wilson. Right point to Yanni. On the far boards to Larmer. 40 seconds to go on the power play to Goulet. Straight away to Yanni. Over in the left circle to Wilson. Across to Larmer. A shot. Oh, and a glove save by Riendo on Larmer. And now the tempers flare a bit right in front of the Blues goal. The Hawks really moving the puck around. And Riendo coming up with some huge saves. Rich Sutter now, I think, just got slugged. And he's screaming at referee Denny Morrell. The Blues here in this third period making it very clear that they don't feel like they're getting any calls.
Well, we told you earlier, the Hawks like to get the puck back to Wilson. He is their key in the power play. Yanni also back there. He got the pass to Wilson. He crossed it right in front, and Riendo, what a glove save on Larmer. They look for Larmer on the weak side, but Riendo made a huge glove save there. Now Sutter and Goulet go off. Well, Blues Athletic, I'm sure that if the Blues can kill this thing off, that would give them some momentum back on their side.
They've definitely got to get back to their side because Chicago has taken the momentum to their side. Killing this penalty off will definitely give that to the Blues. And they're just allowing Chicago back into the game. It's a game of inches, but it's gone to Chicago's side in the second half of this game.
Well, Goulet and Sutter get roughing minors. That's 6:51. Still 29 seconds left in Roberts' penalty. The Blues lead by one, but they're shorthanded.
Here's the face-off near Riendo. Creighton and Mahar. Hawks win it. Back to the right point to Yanni. Far boards the pass by Thomas. Creighton behind the net. Back to Thomas. It gets away. Mahar gets the puck. Up to Lowry. One man to beat. Doug Wilson. Lowry shoots off Wilson's stick. And the puck sails into the crowd. Now 15 seconds remaining in the Chicago power play. Blues lead at 4-3. They have been outshot by Chicago 25-18. At one point, the Blues had outshot Chicago 14-10. So while the Blues have had 4 shots on goal, Chicago has had 15, and that takes you back just about to Gordy Roberts' holding penalty at 13:01 of the second period, maybe a little bit before that.
During the regular season, Mike Keenan pulled his goaltender out of the game 16 times. He's done it 4 times in the playoffs. A lot of people have criticized him, but Ken, there's no question that changed things around tonight.
That certainly was a big factor. And the power play goal really turned on the crowd. The Yanni goal that made it 4-2. Turned on the crowd and turned on the Hawks. Here they come. Roenick shoots it in. Back on Roberts. Puck behind the Blues net. Mike Waller with it. Up the boards to Momesso. He moves it up to Mahar, the Blues veteran, to the red line. He'll drive it into the near corner. Back for the puck, Doug Wilson. Both teams are changing. His rink-wide pass goes to Roenick. He sidesteps Momesso in over the line. And Momesso ties him up. Zezel gets the puck, clears to center ice. Then Manson hands it to Momesso. Good barrel in on the right wing. Centers in front for Hull, just out of his reach. And the Hawks regain possession. Zezel steps into Troy Murray, but he makes a nice play to get it ahead to center ice over Lemieux's stick. Waller now to Zezel. Zezel in heavy traffic. Backhands the puck in. It's behind the Chicago net. Here's Keith Brown. Up for Troy Murray, but he's tied up by Zezel. He's able to kick it to Lemieux. Jocelyn Lemieux to Dave Manson. Manson into the blue zone. Stopped by Roberts. At center ice, Greg Gilbert shoots it in. And back for the puck goes Brown behind his net. Jeff Brown up to Hull. At center ice for Zezel, too far. Now Adam Creighton loses it to Momesso. He can't make a play. He trips Yanni. Yanni gets it ahead to Creighton, over the line to Gilbert. He's stopped, and the Blues clear it out. Blues lead 4-3. Gilbert drives the puck in. Riendo leaves it behind the net for Roberts. Up the wing it comes. Gilbert intercepts through the slot with a pass. No one there, and Momesso clears the zone. 11:10 to go in the third period. Here are the Hawks back. Gilbert over the line on the left wing. And to Lemieux with a shot right on. Good save. Lemieux centers, no one there. Now the puck to the right point. Yanni plays it around the boards. Behind the net, near corner. Jocelyn Lemieux can't center. Paul Cavallini breaks up the play. Gets the puck up to Oates. The Blues on the attack. Oates at center ice. Shoots it in wide of the net. Belfour out. Clears the puck around the near boards. McLean lets it go to Paul Cavallini. His shot knocked down in front by Oates. Loose puck. And it's controlled by Belfour as Yanni took Oates out of the way. And Conroy now with a puck behind his net for Chicago. Over to Trent Yanni. He'll just clear it through center ice. Paul Cavallini knocked down by Presley in his own end. And Lawler clears up the wing. On to Oates from Brindamore. He's drilled down by Conroy. Here's Keith Brown around McLean. Moving into the left wing. 4-on-2. He centers. And no one in front of Riendo. Now Brindamore back. He's slowed up at center ice. Then Jeff Brown stopped by Thomas. Over the line, a pass for Savard. By him into the corner. Here's Presley. Poke check. Loose puck near the Blues net. Lawler takes it. Up to Oates along the near boards. And he'll shoot it into the Chicago end. And it'll be icing as Keith Brown touches the puck. 9:56 to go in the third period. 4-3, the Blues lead it. We pause 15 seconds for station identification. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
We remind you this broadcast has been authorized under broadcasting rights granted by the St. Louis Blues Hockey Club solely for the entertainment of our viewing and listening audience. Any publication, rebroadcast, or the use of the description and account of this game without the express written consent of the Blues Hockey Club is prohibited.
Well, this is great hockey. Stanley Cup hockey. Paul Cavallini ran into a fellow named Wayne Presley, and that had to shake him up a little bit.
Boy, Presley has really come on for the Blackhawks. 5 goals in the playoffs after scoring only 6 goals during the regular year.
Face-off won by Chicago. Doug Wilson, left circle to Goulet. He'll shoot off the body of Riendo over the glass, and the puck ends up in the crowd. Well, there's no question the Blues owned the first half of the game. Chicago has played much better. They've been much more effective in the second half of the game. And the Blues clinging now to a 4-3 lead.
Goulet with a good shot moments ago, but Riendo, who's played extremely well. You cannot fault him on any of the Hawk goals. He's been super tonight in nets. The Blues lead 4-3. They've been outshot 27-19.
17,710. Standing room only at Chicago Stadium. Again, the Hawks win the draw on the Blues end. Larmer tries to center fans. Sneps takes over, can't clear. Doug Wilson keeps it in. Behind the net, Larmer wrapped up. Now Goulet centers. No one there for Chicago. Blues come to center ice. Lowry. He'll shoot it in. It comes in front of the net. Belfour's alone. He robs the Blues. Gino Cavallini. That baby looked like it was going in. Larmer over the line to Rooney. Quick shot. And that goes wide. And the puck out to center ice. The Hawks got a bad hop. The Blues got a good hop. And somehow the puck didn't go in the Chicago net. At center ice, Momesso with a puck ahead too far for Hull. Here's Keith Brown at the red line, shooting the puck in. It'll end up behind the Blues net. Cleared up the near boards by Riendo. Hansen pinches into Creighton. In the corner to Thomas. In front. Gilbert's shot just wide. Ron Wilson can't clear. Hawks with great pressure here. Behind the net to Thomas. Wedged to the boards by Sneps. Good play. Sneps up to Hull. He can't clear it out. Kept in by Manson. Far side to Steve Thomas. Now to Creighton. And his centering effort intercepted. And Harold Sneps shoots the puck the length of the ice. A race. Brown and Hull. And Keith Brown gets there first. The whistle is icing against the Blues. And the Hawks really crawling up the backs of the Blues now. With 8:33 to go, the Blues lead is 4-3.
Boy, I'll tell you, young Ed Belfour nearly cost his club there. And Gino Cavallini tipped it by Belfour, but he reached back and made a brilliant save. Yanni went back for it. And Yanni is the one who actually nearly put it into his own goal and not Gino Cavallini. And Yanni tried to clear it away, but a break there. And Belfour, who was with the Canadian Olympic team all year long, came back and made a brilliant save on that tip-in by his own man.
It'll be Troy Murray and Rick Mahar for the faceoff near Vincent Riendo. A one-goal Blues lead. They led at 1 point by 3. They battle for the puck in the faceoff circle. Finally into the corner. Now behind the net. Jocelyn Lemieux. He'll come to the near side. Dumps it behind the goal. Roberts takes his man out. Now Presley trying to move in front. Poke check by Riendo. Paul Cavallini sweeps the puck up the wing to Rich Sutter. On a line with Mahar, and Gino Cavallini ahead for Mahar too far. He's taken down, runs into Belfour, goes sliding. At the point, Paul Cavallini, nice move, right got a shot well wide. At the left point, Gordy Roberts knocks the puck behind the net for Mahar. Manson intercepts ahead to Wayne Presley. Here are the Hawks, but 3 Blues back. Jocelyn Lemieux shoots the puck in. He's stripped, no call. Hawks are changing. Blues in their own end. With the puck, Rich Sutter flips it to center ice. And back for it is Manson. He comes up the middle. Rich Sutter intercepts. 2 Hawks back. Long shot. And Sutter's drive caught by Ed Belfour. Doug Wilson up to Denny Savard at center ice to Steve Thomas. Thomas against Featherstone, pulls up inside the blue line, centers. Mike Lawler intercepts, gives it to Paul McLean. He's bumped by Gilbert along the near boards. Gilbert back to Doug Wilson. That shot goes wide. Yanni pinches into the far corner. Yanni behind the net, leaves it for Thomas. Back to the blue line. Gilbert, a screen shot. Big save, Riendo on Gilbert. Now here's Savard. He can't move in front. Mike Lawler tries to clear the puck, can't. Doug Wilson a shot, knocked down, tipped through the slot, and the puck to Brindamore. Ahead for McLean, over the line, 2-on-1, one man back, in front off Ron Wilson's stick. Now his pass for McLean behind the net too far, back the other way, Chicago. It's Denny Savard at the red line, and he'll just flip the puck in as both teams want to change players. 4-3 Blues lead it in their own zone. Brindamore up to Zezel. 6:40 to go. He'll dump it in. Belfour out of the crease. Plays the puck around the far boards for Presley. It's intercepted, and Zezel a bad angle shot right on. Now in the corner, here's Peter Zezel trying to center. He can't. Momesso along the boards, ridden out by Keith Brown, and Roenick tries to clear, can't. Brown keeps it in for the Blues behind the net to Momesso. And then Roenick steals the puck from Sergio Momesso. Roenick a long left wing pass too far for Larmer. All the way near the Blues net. And Riendo plays the puck. Up to Hall. He clears it into the Chicago zone. Doug Wilson back. His pass intercepted by Hall. Hall moves it in the right wing. A shot and a pad save by Belfour on Hall. Here's Doug Wilson. Head manning to Wayne Presley at the red line. He'll backhand it in. It's knocked down by Paul Cavallini. Then a couple of checks thrown. The puck squirts to center ice, and the Blues have it 2-on-2. Gino Cavallini over the line. Quick shot to save. Belfour in front. Zezel. His shot stopped by Belfour as Zezel moves in all alone for the rebound attempt. Oh, did the Blues come close there? Blues lead at 4-3. 5:37 to go in the third. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Bruce, you ready down there?
You got it.
The Blues lead 4-3. Zezel got a rebound moments ago at Belfour. Big save. Bruce Affleck, is this up and down pace to the liking of the Blues, would you say?
I think it might be, John, just because they've had the rest. Chicago may be a little more tired than the Blues, as the Blues had the longer layoff. But Blues would like, I'm sure, to be a little more tight, close checking.
Hawks control the face-off in their own end. Clear it out. Paul Cavallini dumps it back in. Conroy out to center ice. Paul Cavallini intercepts again, shoots it in, and Conroy brings it out. He'll dump it into the blue zone, hit by the high stick of Paul Cavallini, and as he plays the puck, play is stopped, and the face-off will be at the top of the circle inside the St. Louis blue line with 5:21 to go. Brind'Amour has scored twice for the Blues. Mahar and Hull have also scored. Chicago goals from Doug Wilson, Trent Yawney, and Adam Creighton. They got the last 2 goals to wipe out a 3-goal Blues lead.
One thing about Greg Millen, the former Blues goalie, even though he was yanked, he's still a very good cheerleader on the bench. That's one thing Mike Keenan has said about Millen. He's great in the locker room with the younger players.
Blues win the draw. Good job by Oates on Troy Murray. Blues clear to center ice. Yawney back at his own line for the Hawks. To Goulet, right wing to Jocelyn Lemieux. He can't handle the puck, and Lawler clears it off the boards to center ice. Gino Cavallini tied up. Puck was hit by a high stick, and Denny Morrell stops play as Gino Cavallini mixed it up there with the Chicago player Trent Yawney. 5:05 to go. Can the Blues hang on? That is the question of the moment here at Chicago Stadium.
Well, last year the Blues had home ice in the Norris Division Finals. They lost the first game 3-1. The Hawks went on to win the series, as we all know, in 5 games. So Brian Sutter's club would like to win the first game of this series and take over the home ice advantage. And now Sutter's telling his players 1 or 2 more shifts each. Nothing fancy. Clear the puck away and you'll get a win.
Keep the shifts short. Lawler gets it, flips it in, back for it Yawney. Blues quick change. Yawney up the left wing to the red line. He'll flip it into the far corner. Lawler back for it. Clears it off the boards out to center ice. Doug Wilson in his own end for Chicago. To Savard. He'll circle back in front of the net to Yawney. Ed Manning to Creighton at the red line. Now for Savard, too far. Blues back for the puck. Rich Sutter has it deep in his own end. He's checked, can't handle it. A battle in the corner for the puck. 4:33 to go. It's cleared to center ice. Here's Lowry to Rich Sutter, one man back, and he can't get around Keith Brown, and it's offside. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
Blues lead 4-3. The difference in the game, Brett Hull's goal at 10:59 of the second period. When the Blues knocked off the Hawks 2 years ago, Hull scored.
Here's Snaps losing the puck, moving in Roenick. And a shot wide. He never really got good control. Left point, Manson. Glove save, Riendo on a drive by Manson. That was headed for the far post. Oh my, what a save by Riendo, and he holds on to stop play with 4:17 to go.
Well, this was all caused when Snep sort of lost the puck, and Riendo, a brilliant glove save. I started to say, Ken, before Roenick nearly had a breakaway, when the Blues knocked off the Hawks 2 years ago, Brett Hull had 3 game-winning goals in that 6-game series, but you'd have to argue that Riendo is the star of the game tonight.
He has played well. He got the call even though Curtis Joseph was healthy and ready to play tonight. Now the faceoff to Riendo's right. Ron Wilson against Adam Creighton. 4-3, the Blues lead here in Game 1 of the Norris Division Finals. Blues win the draw. They generally have done well on faceoffs. Over to Lowry, up for Ron Wilson. He can't get it out. Kept in Thomas. His shot right on. Another big save by Riendo. This time on Steve Thomas from well out. And he smothers that rebound. And this 4:07 looks like 4 weeks up on that scoreboard at center ice.
Well, the Blackhawks have 14 shots on goal so far in this period and 30 on the night. The Blues have 10 shots on goal in the period and 24 for the game. And the Blues still lead 4-3. Ron Wilson nearly had the puck out of the zone. It was kept in, and then Steve Thomas, who possesses one of the best shots in the NHL, unloaded from the deep slot. But Riendo made a nice save as he went to his knees. Thomas led the Hawks with 40 goals during the regular season.
We're ready for the face-off near Riendo. Ron Wilson out there with Sutter and Lowry. The draw won, but then in the corner, Roenick gets the puck. Blues had won the draw. Back to Keith Brown. A shot wide comes in front, cleared by Riendo. And Presley trying to move in front. Leaves the puck for Larmer. Larmer tied up, and the Blues will come to center ice. Ron Wilson will just shoot it in. 3:45 to go. Blues make a change. Manson for the Hawks behind his net. Into the corner for Brown. Up front, Larmer with Roenick and Presley. Larmer over the line to Roenick. He'll dump it behind the Blues net. McLean back. He clears it off the glass near side for Brindamore. He's got a pair. He'll get it to center ice, loses possession, and Yanni has it, leaving it for Presley. Presley behind the back to Troy Murray. Troy Murray into the blue zone, dumps it into the corner. Doug Wilson chopped down. That allows Roberts to get to the puck. He can't clear it out. Yanni dumps it in front, and then Roberts has it against his sweater, and he'll hold it there with his arm against the side of the net. And play stopped with 3:11 to go in regulation time. The Blues 4 and the Blackhawks 3. This is St. Louis Blues hockey.
We got the other score from LA if you want to use it. In the Smythe Division Finals, the Oilers lead 4-0. Anderson, Curry, Messi, and Jelena have scored for the Oilers, who lead 4-0 late in the second over the Kings.
Here the clock, the big factor. 3:11 to go. Third period. The Blues by a goal. Hawks win the draw. Thomas sends it behind the net. Back for it, Featherstone. Off the boards, not out. Doug Wilson keeps it in. A shot! Deflects off Creighton just wide. Steve Thomas back to the right point. Screen shot. Yanni hits the post. Yanni hits the post. Lawler can't clear it out. Now Gino Cavallini comes to center ice. 2-on-1. He'll shoot. And Belfour the save. Loose puck side of the Chicago net. And Belfour pounces on it to gain a faceoff with 2:47 to go. 4-3. The Blues lead it. Well, the Blues come back after Yanni hit the side of the goalpost just moments ago.
That shot, I think, was deflected in front, and it hit the left goalpost behind Riendo, and then the Blues had a 2-on-1 the other way. And Bruce, I don't think Gino Cavallini knew he had McLean with him on this 2-on-1.
No, I agree with you, John. He just wound up and let go of the shot on Belfour. That's twice in this game. Blues had 2-2-on-1s and really should have passed the puck instead of shooting it. That time, Gino letting go of the shot, Belfour making the save.
Well, Belfour's handled all 12 of the shots the Blues have fired his way. Blues lead the game 4-3. Now 2:47 left in regulation time.
The Blues during the regular season, one of the league's better road teams, 17, 19, and 4. And they split the 2 games in the first round of the playoffs in Toronto. Face off in the Chicago end. Zezel tries to get possession of the puck, does. Flips it behind the Chicago net. And here come the Hawks. Manson, Blues are changing. Up to Gilbert. Now to Savard at the red line. He's stopped by Mahar, who's shadowing him, and Gilbert will blast the puck in. 2.5 minutes to go. 4-3 Blues. Jeff Brown clears it off the boards. Bad hop for the Blues. Gilbert gets it. Right circle. Into the corner. Tries to center. It goes behind the net. Savard checked by Sneps. Mahar clears around the boards, not out. Manson, a shot, knocked down by Brown. Jeff Brown of the Blues to center ice. He'll just shoot the puck in. 2:08 to go. Hawks in their own zone. With it in the near corner, Dave Manson. Blues have Ron Wilson, Dave Lowry, and Paul McLean on with Roberts and Paul Cavallini. Here's Jeremy Roenick against Roberts. Roberts takes him out, and the puck slides to Riendo. Blues try to clear it out and do. Good job by Ron Wilson. Back for the puck, Yanni. 1:45 to go. 4-3 Blues. Yanni for Chicago in front of his net. A feed for Presley too far. Back for the puck, Gordy Roberts. He fails to touch it, but the icing is called, and with 1:35 to go in the third period, the faceoff will come back to the circle near Chicago goalie Ed Belfour.
And Roberts really never touched that puck on that icing call. A break for the Blues now with 1:35 left in regulation time. Blues up by 1. The next game, of course, Friday, 7:30 here at the stadium. We'll have the broadcast on the Blues Radio Network starting at 7:20. The game can also be seen on KPLR TV, St. Louis 11. That's Friday at 7:30. And Bruce, there's no question the Blues have been outstanding defensively once again in this contest like they were in the first round.
Well, at the start of the show, we kind of gave the mark for the Blues on defense. Defense and special teams can win you a lot of hockey games. Chicago has a power play goal, but overall the Blues have played very well defensively, and Vince Riendo has been outstanding.
4-3 Blues face off in the Chicago end. Ron Wilson, a quick shot. Belfour the save. We'll keep an eye on Belfour. Hawks stopped at center ice by Ron Wilson, who shoots the puck in. Doug Wilson back for it. Hawks with it in their own end. Now to Keith Brown. 1:20 to go. Up for Creighton. He can't play it at center ice, and Featherstone hands it to Keith Brown. He'll shoot it in. Belfour halfway to the blue line. Lawler clears the center ice. Good job. Hawks control there with 1:10 left. Doug Wilson will blast the puck in. Riendo lets it go behind the net. Far side. Creighton overskates it. Ron Wilson clears the center ice to Rich Sutter. And he'll dump it in with less than a minute to go. Both teams are changing. Belfour still in goal for Chicago. Hawks are down, trailing the Blues 4-3. Hawks in their own end. Now Steve Thomas to center ice. He'll shoot it in. To the bench goes Belfour. Puck in the corner. Goulet bumps McLean. A battle for the puck along the near boards in the Blues end. Roenick in front. Back to Larmer. Right point. A shot by Manson high. And the rebound taken by McLean. 30 seconds to go. Blues can't clear it out. It's in the corner. McLean gets the puck. Tries to get it out. Can't. Thomas tries to center and can't. The Blues clear it away down the ice shy of the goal. 18 seconds remaining. Blues lead 4-3. Here's Yanni with the extra attacker to the red line, shooting it in. 12 seconds left. Puck behind the Blues net. Paul Cavallini has it around the boards to brother Gino. He plays it. Flips it high. And the puck goes out of play, and the clock stopped with 3 seconds to go here in the third period. And Mike Keenan's team with the extra attacker here in the last minute, now down to one face-off and one quick shot near the Blues goal as the Blues lead it 4-3, and they're 3 seconds away from grabbing the opening game of this Norris Division best-of-7 series. This final series to decide which team will move into the NHL's Final Four. And John, not too surprising here, the timeout is used.
Timeout, Blackhawks.
Hawks have called the timeout. Well, Gino Cavallini, all he had to do there is clear it away, and he flipped it over the glass. Not to fault Gino at all. He was doing his best, but ideally you would have liked him to have kept the puck in play. But now 3 seconds left, and Bruce, there's no question that that's plenty of time for the Hawks to get a shot on goal.
How important is this face-off? Obviously very important. You win the face-off and you win the hockey game. Meanwhile, Chicago obviously thinking they have to win it to get a shot on net. Now, it's been funny. There's been a lot of face-offs tonight, but there's been 31 in the St. Louis zone and only 16 in the Chicago zone. Fortunately, the Blues are leading in the face-off department.
Well, the Blues had a very big advantage in the face-offs in the first round series against Toronto, and unofficially they have had the edge tonight. And let's see what Brian Sutter sends back on the ice. Wilson, Sutter, and Mahar with Paul Cavallini, and Snep's back on defense. So the Blues do have two centers out there, and the Hawks have their goalie pulled.
Face off. To Riendo's left, it'll be Creighton against Ron Wilson. Goulet, Presley, Troy Murray, Larmer, and Steve Thomas. Thomas is behind Creighton. Creighton will try to get the puck to Thomas. And he'll try to blast it on goal with 3 seconds remaining in regulation play. Now Goulet and Sneps, Sutter and Presley do some stick swinging as they line up in front of Vincent Riendo. 4-3 Blues. This third period has been scoreless. Blues led in the second period 4-1. Chicago got 2 late second period goals. Now the faceoff. Now they have trouble lining up again. Goulet and Presley will try to move in front of Riendo. Here's the drop of the puck. It's knocked loose to Presley. A shot right on. Oh, a save by Riendo, and the game ends. Wayne Presley had a chance to tie it, but Riendo, who was brilliant tonight here in Game 1, came up with a gigantic save on Presley. And Game 1 is over. The Blues hold on. A sterling defensive effort to defeat the Chicago Blackhawks 4-3. Presley in the slot was left alone and had a glorious chance to tie it, but Riendo comes up with a great save. We'll return to Chicago Stadium in just a moment. The Blues have won the first game of the Norris Division Finals. 4-3 is the final. Back in a moment. This is St. Louis Blues hockey. Show us what you're going to show us.
We don't know who that's from. Oh, that was the last one. You got that?
You're going to show us the final 3 seconds again?
Right.
The opening game of the Norris Division Finals goes to the Blues, who led 4-1 in the second period. They hold on for a 4-3 victory. Welcome back to Chicago Stadium. Ken Wilson along with John Kelly. Bruce Affleck is also here. The Blues were stupendous for the first half of the game. Then the big question was what would happen early in the third period, and the Blues came up with a very big answer. They were staunch defensively, and that's what won the game for them.
Well, they were outstanding, and you're only as good as your goaltender behind you. And what more can we say about Vince Riendo? He was simply outstanding. He stopped 8 or 9 tremendous chances for the Blackhawks in the contest. Late in the game, Doug Wilson fed it in front to Larmer, but Riendo, a good pad save. And then this was earlier in the game when Lemieux shot one and Goulet had the rebound, and this might have been his most acrobatic save of the night when he got his blocker on the Goulet rebound.
First start in a Stanley Cup game ever for Vincent Riendo, and he certainly answered the call. He was brilliant right up to that save with 1 second left that he made on Wayne Presley. Bruce Affleck, all in all, a very, very strong effort tonight by the Blues.
Definitely was a strong effort, Ken. I guess the thing I question is the second half. They had the lead, they had a 3-goal lead. They didn't almost give it away, but Hawks came back with 2 big goals. You have to question the Blues. How well did they play defensively in the second half? They had to rely on Vincent Riendo instead of their play, but Vincent Riendo was up for the test, and he played spectacular.
All right, Bruce Affleck, we mentioned the last 3 seconds. We mentioned Riendo time and time again. Don't ask me how Wayne Presley got open in the slot, but he was open, and that face-off with 3 seconds, and it came down to this shot.
Well, the Hawks had Thomas on the right point, but they crossed the Blues up. They went to Presley in the slot, and he was uncovered. Someone missed an assignment, but Riendo made the save of the night as he got his right pad over, and boy, how in the world did Presley get that wide open, and how in the world did Riendo make the save?
Well, back to the blackboard to find out how Presley got open, and that, I'm sure, will be answered. How about our Bush 3 stars tonight, John?
Well, Doug Wilson of the Blackhawks got their first goal. He had 1 goal tonight, played very well. He was the 3rd star. The 2nd star, Rod Brindamore. I thought Brindamore played the best game he's played all year long in both ends of the ice. He had a pair of goals, and he was outstanding. But Vincent Riendo has to get the 1st star. He stopped 28 of 31 shots, and he is our Bush 1st star tonight.
So those are the Bush 3 stars. Yes, for Brett Hull watchers, he was here, he got a goal, and no question about them trying to contain him. If the Hawks really were, they didn't do a very good job. He had a number of scoring chances.
Yeah, he did. He had a goal in the game, 5 shots after 2 periods. We don't have the final totals in the 3rd period. I think he had another shot in the 3rd, but when you give Brett Hull 4, 5, 6 shots or more a game, he will burn you for at least 1 goal, and he did that tonight.
Tonight, Hull gets a goal. Riendo is brilliant. The Blues, very strong checking from start to finish, and they have taken Game 1 of the Norris Division Finals. Remember, tonight's game has been brought to you by your friends at Anheuser-Busch, who remind you to know when to say when. Our next telecast on KPLR TV, St. Louis 11, will be Friday night, Game 2 of this Norris Division Final Series from here at Chicago Stadium. That telecast will begin at 7:30 Central Time. Our next broadcast on our Blues Radio Network will be Friday night at 7:20, starting things off with our Blues warm-up show. For Bruce Affleck and John Kelly, this is Ken Wilson. Thanks for joining us here in Chicago tonight. And once again, the final score in Game 1 of the Norris Division Finals, the St. Louis Blues 4, the Chicago Blackhawks 3. St. Louis Blues Hockey has been a presentation of Bud Sports through the facilities of KPLR TV and KMOX Radio.